purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
All right, welcome. All right, so welcome you guys to another episode of the Power of Ownership podcast. I'm your host, Brandon B. Dixon, and I got my co-host, David Youngs here.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
Yep, I know he missed last week, so it was a good show, though. We missed you last week, so let's go ahead.
Last one I'm missing for a long time, by the way, so I should be on for the next many in a row.
Gotcha. So let's go ahead and let's do the introductions without further ado. My name is Brandon B. Dixon. My NMLS is 1541210. It's at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. Also, you go to the YouTube. It's at Billionaire Loan Officer as well. Please like, subscribe. Also, tell a friend, and share our content as well. You go to my website, www.applywithb.com. You can book me for a consultation, or you could apply for a mortgage right then and there. You can call me 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. Last but not least, you could go to www.brandonbdixon.com. If you want to lease, list, don't forget I'm a licensed realtor as well. So if you want to talk about real estate investing as well, you can go. That's the place to get me. All right, David.
Sounds good. I noticed you stopped doing your last one there.
I hadn't uploaded We Love Frenchies yet, so I didn't want to send them to
fair enough.
All it is a landing page so far. So I had it up a while back, then I took it down. I'm gonna put it back up again.
Sounds good.
It's not up right now. So once it's up, that's why I didn't delete the actual banner. When it's up, I'll go ahead and start promoting it again.
Sounds good. For those watching, Brandon loves puppies. He's got lots of puppies. Okay, so my name is David Youngs. I am a licensed mortgage advisor, branch manager based in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. I am licensed in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, North Dakota, Arkansas, Florida, and Tennessee. So 7 states directly. However, we do have at a company level, Brandon and I both, we have nationwide options across the board to help you with anything you need, including Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands as well. If you want to follow me on YouTube, my primary handle is my Infinite Home Team brand. That's my personal team name, Infinite Home Team. So youtube.com is that. Handle is my Infinite Home Team brand. That's my personal team name. That quick for You can also find me online on my website, infinitehometeam.com, or davidyoungs.com has both of them have a lot of cool features. Check them out. Calculators, free downloads, all kinds of fun stuff you can take a look at, including a bio video on Infinite Home Team. You can learn more about me there, kind of my origin story. If you want to schedule a call on my calendar, which also is linked to on the top right corner here with the QR code as well, davidyoungscalendar.com. And lastly, if you want to download all of my contact information, if you go to this website right here on your phone specifically, .cards/David Youngs, you'll be able to download all my information in one shot. You won't have to remember any of this. You'll be able to just have it all in front of you right there, including all the other things you need too, like my office number, my Zoom, and other things like that. So that's me. It's nice to meet you guys and appreciate you tuning in.
Gotcha. And for those who this is your first time tuning into the Power of Ownership podcast, not only we talk about ownership of properties and businesses, but we also expand the conversation to ownership of the mind, body, and soul. So taking total ownership of yourself personally, taking personal accountability of everything that you do. So we broaden the conversation. So it's just not a mortgage show. It's about everything, So let's get the conversation going. And you probably did. I don't know if you had a chance to preview.
I did. I always watch the videos beforehand, so I always know kind of what we're going into ahead of time.
So yeah, this is kind of an ode to. And I said I was going to do this show. I I never did this. Like I said, I've been streaming now for, I want to say 5 or 6 years. The show's been going on for like almost 9, since the Apple Podcast and Google Podcast, but I never did an ode to like my mentor, Mattress Mac. I always quote him. And you sparked the idea, like, man, I always quote him. But like, damn, I've never had a clip about him. I've never done it. Yeah, like, all right.
Yeah,
so
when I was watching through these, I'm like, oh, now I get who you're talking about. So I think our audience is really going to like this because they're going to be able to relate to you and what you kind of understood and learned from.
Right. And it got a deeper meaning behind this. So let's go ahead and let's get to the first question here and open it up. So
by the way, let me just preface real quick before we jump into this, just a reminder to everybody watching. If you have any thoughts, input, questions yourself, throw them into the chat, please. We will read these live on air. We want to get your feedback and input on this. So if you have anything to share, please do so.
Right. And for those that don't know, this is your first time. Before I was a mortgage broker in the mortgage business, I was the training and development manager at Gallery Furniture. And this is right after I owned my own business. And so Mac kind of took me under his wing. Again, I was like real rough around the edges, and at the time I didn't understand a lot of the lessons that he was trying to give. At one point, I'm like, man, I don't get this guy, So he's like one of those old school coaches. That's a lot of tough love, a lot of hard knock, a lot of getting in your face. He's like one of those old school, drill sergeants or coaches. So he plays this public image like he's, all cute and cuddly, but behind doors he's intense. I got all kind of I got days and days of stories about Mac, but at the time I didn't understand. I wanted to apprentice under him because I wanted to learn how to scale business, but I didn't understand. Like even when I was playing football, I didn't understand this level of intensity. But now I kind of looking back at retro, I think I'm thankful I understand Mac a whole lot better. But for those that don't know, Mattress Mac is at one point, I don't know if he still is, but he has the most successful and the biggest per square foot most profitable furniture store in America per square foot.
Wow, very
independently,
nice.
Like mom and pop own. So he says like a few $100 million. That's on, like, if you look at his network, that's incorrect. He's probably over $1 billion, easily. He gives away money like it's crazy. But let's get to the first question.
By the way, if you have a fun story or two somewhere in here to like add extra weight to these videos we're watching, don't hesitate to throw those in. I think our audience would love that.
I got one that's after the he tells a story about the first Super Bowl promotion. I'll tell I was there, so I know exactly.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I want to hear that. This is more for my personal curiosity than anything else, honestly.
So I'll tell the story after that clip, but let's get into it. Do the biggest wins come from taking bigger risk or from thinking differently than everyone else?
And by the way, for those watching, Brandon's really good at coming up with these questions, and I intentionally don't watch these ahead of time, so I don't know what he's going to ask. So it's kind of natural on the fly.
Right.
Bigger risks or thinking differently? I think in general, when you think differently, you're probably going to naturally take bigger risks, but taking risks in themselves doesn't automatically mean you're going to be successful. I think calculated risk is the key. And I think that's part of the videos we're going to talk about is calculated risk here. This is something that you don't just, if you have money to spend on marketing, you don't just throw it out in the ether and hope it's going to work. There's thousands of ways you could market your businesses. That doesn't mean they're all right. All of that is technically a risk. And the more money you throw at it, the bigger the risk it is. So I think if you can figure out what makes you different, that piece, if you can really hone in on what makes you different and then double down the calculated risk on that piece, whatever that might be in your business, that's what you want to push with or run with. That probably will profit you. If you're just taking risk to take risk because you heard this is a good thing, you may or may not make it work. I feel like now you're kind of more playing roulette versus a calculated blackjack game kind of a thing. Counting cards, there's a very different math involved than that versus roulette, right?
Right. So I think, and this is a quick story that'll play up. When it's slow, what we do is we don't just sit around the store. We have sales meetings. So he don't allow you to check out the game, like and sit there and watch YouTube videos or sit there and play on your iPad. If it's slow and there's not a lot of customers in the store, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna not sit down. We stand up in a semicircle, and we have a powwow meeting, a sales meeting. And during those sales meetings, he asks questions, and we answer them. And basically, we're his think tank. So one of the things that leading up, and I don't want to take credit for it, is he did it. I threw some things in there and we tweaked it. So what the question was, well, what do we do to sell? What type of promotions we could do to sell more furniture? And so I was like, yeah, I mean, people like gambling, and everybody was laughing at my answer. People like gambling. This is America. People like, taking risk. People like, if you gamify it, and this was what is it, 26? This was back in 14. So this was 12 years ago. If you gamify it, people that keep people interested.
Yep.
And so he's writing it down. Boom, 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 boom. Then the next thing I know, we come up with the Super Bowl promotion. Now, he did something similar to this before, but it wasn't where you win your money back. That was a new layer, So let's go ahead and run this first clip, But I remember distinctly, he used to ask us, and that was one of the things I said, gamify it. So maybe that was the catalyst. I can't take credit for it. Of course, he has the capital to back this, but he gamified it and it worked out great for him. So let's go ahead and run this first clip. All right, let me know when you can see the screen.
Single dollar of his own money. How he did this was genius. In 2022, Jim the Mattress Mac owned a furniture store and pulled off the smartest sports bet in the history. Here's what he did. He ran a promo in his furniture stores. Buy furniture worth $3,000 or more, and if the Houston Astros win the championship, you get it all free. Sales exploded. $75 million worth of furniture was sold. And then he took the money and placed a $10 million bet on the Astros to win. If they lost, he will keep the revenue he got from furniture sales. If they won, he refunds the customers but walks away with $75 million in winning. The result? Astros won. Customers won. Mac won bigger, and he became the legend overnight. This isn't gambling. It was calculated risk backed by business. This is how you bet on marketing, not luck. This man won $75 million.
Right. And that was one of the later ones. That was one after he'd been doing it for like 3-4 years. The original one was the Broncos versus the Seahawks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I was going to say because the video there is not the Super Bowl. That's a baseball game.
Right. So that was after he'd done it 3 or 4 times, and originally he lost to $13 million. That's the one that I was around for. Well, I was around for the first 2 or 3. The one at Astro, that was after I was already in the mortgage business. But that's when he perfected it. The first time it was just, and I don't think he's not telling all the way the truth. This is public, so I don't want to. I think it was semi-protected because his insurance guy, I know, Lloyd's of London, he was going to do my insurance.
Okay, sure. He had some business insurance tied to this thing as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't completely a loss like he says, because I know his guy because he was going to do mine for when I was going to buy this pet land. He was going to do my insurance for the pet land, so he does creative insurance.
Okay.
But that's Mattress Mac referred him to me. But let's go ahead with the question here. Did Mattress Mac win because he had more money or because he understood marketing better than almost anyone else?
Well, it takes money to make money in the first place.
Sure.
To an extent, right? I mean, you can't just throw a $10 million bet on a game like that if you don't have some money in the first place to go run with. So you got to work your way up in the gamification of this to be able to get to that level that he's at. But I agree. I think he understood marketing better than anyone else. However, what you just said a second ago also ties in is it sounds like he was a good listener. He didn't come up with all the ideas himself. he had people that he surrounded himself with, and he listened to his sales team and other professionals, other business owners, to kind of figure out what he was going to do, figure out his plan to create this concept. So I think it's not just he knew how to market, but he learned how to market through others and the support of others. So I think it's a great example of look what's possible if you surround yourself with the right people and you're willing to take some calculated risk and try different things with the right approach.
Right. That's one of Mac's greatest strengths is that he doesn't have an ego where he doesn't listen to anybody else. In fact, if I was going to play a clip, but it was too long, where he just did one of his latest ones that he did a speech in Las Vegas. I want to say at the end of 2025. And he was in front of like all the betting gurus in the US, like all the betting salespeople in there. And the guy was introducing Mac, and he said, Max, he doesn't like to leave the store. Like, it got to be something special for him to leave the store.
Sure.
So like, yeah, you can fly me out, but when am I going to learn?
Right. Exactly.
So he's like, if I'm not learning anything, I'm not coming. So, but that's him in a nutshell. He's always, they say you'll be at these, $5,000 dinners with, pen in the pad. Like, all right, what do you do? Mm-hmm. So that's a good attribute to have. A lot of people, once they have minimal success, they think they figure they know it all. In fact, that's what he used to call me all the time, because I'm like an encyclopedia. All right, here we go, Mr. Know-It-All. Like, no, I'm knowledgeable on certain things, So eventually, what he was trying to get me to see is like, hey, you gain more by, playing dumb sometimes.
Yep.
It's in the 48 laws of power.
And no matter, absolutely. And no matter who you're talking to, you can learn something from everybody. Right. Honestly, if you're honest with yourself, you can learn something pretty much from everybody if you ask enough questions and dig far enough. So even someone as successful as this guy who's digging into people's, like, hey, you're my sales guy. Like you're employed by me, Brandon. Mm-hmm. But I want to hear what you have to say. Give me your ideas. Give me something good. Like help me grow. Help you grow. Because this is mutually beneficial. But this applies, I think, in all areas of life. In fact, funny enough, just today I got a call from a random person referred to me that he gave me the name of the person that referred me. I have no idea who this person is, and I'm trying to still figure out how he got to me. But we ended up over a 2-hour consultation out of the blue today because it turned out we're the exact same age that align on pretty much absolutely everything. We drive the same vehicles. We've had the same upbringing practically. We've had the same everything. Mm-hmm. No relation to one another. No, we never met each other before. But he's already said, we're going to be best friends. This guy's the CEO of a company. He's come out with me to the soccer match coming up here locally here, to my box VIP suite. And I got this gift I want to give you. And I want to hang out. Let's bring your wife to the gun range and we'll go shooting together or something like immediately, 2 hours in, brand new guy. We just became fast friends because I asked a lot of questions of him and he asked a lot of questions of me. And because we were willing to learn from each other, both of us experienced in our spaces unrelated to mortgage lending and real estate, totally separate fields that we're talking about here. We aligned and found that mutual harmony and learned. So I'm just using this as an example of just today, be willing to listen to other people and look what you can accomplish. And what this guy now, Mac, was able to accomplish with his business of doubling down on this, expanding on it, growing from it, learning from it. Like you said, maybe he lost money the first time, then he expanded on it, grew it, and then he's hundreds of millions, a billionaire potentially. We don't know.
I would say it's safe to say, that's what when they say what I think when you look on Google's network, I think they say 350 million, but I think that's probably what's on the books,
Sure.
Probably reports. They're not counting these the real estate and all the other stuff that he owns. But the next question is what's the difference between a crazy business idea and the next $1 billion marketing campaign? How do the discernment in this digging, doubling down on what I was saying earlier. He'll ask not just input. Now we'll have like what he calls the 18. We'll have like the senior executives. Well, not he hates the word executive, but we'll have like myself, was the training and development manager. Lloyd, who's the director of operations. We'll have some of the sales managers there. That'll be his close knit team. However, but when we did sales meetings, everybody would get a turn for their input because you never know who might have the next best idea. But he'll write all of this stuff down. And then, how do you pick out what's a crazy idea or what'll go? Mm-hmm. So that's discernment, So I give you an example, like back in, this was 14 or 15. One of the things I had suggested he actually did as well. I said, why don't you do a Madden tournament? And he had, upstairs, there's an upstairs room, like where it oversaw the whole furniture store. He did like Madden tournaments. Guys are coming and play video games and stuff.
I was gonna say so video games or like card games or like they're actually tackling each other upstairs in the room.
John Madden is a football game that's like the most popular game.
Yeah. I was gonna say they're playing Madden on Super Nintendo N64, whatever it was.
Yeah, PlayStation and
PlayStation,
Xbox, stuff like that. So they're playing Madden upstairs, and they got the parents involved and stuff like that, so that people, while the kids are playing video games, they will shop around and get furniture. So also he had monkeys in there. He had monkeys, he had tigers, all kinds of different. So people come just to see the monkeys. So what? How crazy is too crazy?
Literally monkeys jumping on a bed, right? I believe that's
there's a giant cage. There was a giant cage in the middle of the showroom floor. And they have what is it, Chipunchin monkeys? I wanted one until I figured out they live to like 50, 60 years old, and then they
I don't know if I'd want a monkey living permanently with me. I wouldn't.
Right? Yeah. Then they don't. It's not like a dog. A dog maybe can hop on the couch, maybe, but not. A monkey will get up on top of everything and tear everything up, and they won't stop. They'll pull everything out of the drawer. They won't stop. So it's like. But people will come to take pictures with the monkeys, and that was part of the thing. It was like a spectacle.
Yeah. Did he ever do that, by the way?
What's that?
Mama said no more monkeys jumping on the bed. Did he ever run with that?
No, he did do the giant mattress though. He put like I think that's still to this day. There's at each store there's a giant mattress that's like the size of 6 kings. That
really?
Adults and everything jump on. So they get there and just jump. So now the monkeys don't. The monkeys were. I don't even know if they bring them out anymore. At one point, they were bringing out until one of them bit one. They had one called Logan, and he bit somebody, and then they had to have him quarantine. But they had the little one Thor that knew me like personally. I would spend time with him every day.
But getting technical to the point of the question, though, like who would ever think? Right. Let's bring in wild animals into a furniture store and tie those together for marketing.
Right.
That's not something I think most people would ever think up.
Right.
That is a crazy business idea.
Right.
But it worked. Right.
It works. Everything works and nothing. That's his favorite.
I was just going to say, I was going to quote you again. Everything works and nothing doesn't. It's probably the favorite phrase I've learned from you, man.
Right. So it's like it worked. It worked surprisingly, and then I would be so nervous. Like that's the thing I never. One thing while working with Mac, I never understood. Like, and I think you're the same in the same thread. You over analyze. All right, what could happen? All right, what if the monkey bites somebody? What if he escaped? What if and they did all of the above. They bit somebody. They escaped before.
Yep.
They did all. They did all of people. Put quarters underneath there to try to feed the monkey, and the monkeys they did everything, but it still worked. He dealt with the problems that they came.
I'm going to argue strongly. You need a Mac, and then you need to hire a David to curb the Mac a little bit.
I don't know if you curb
some of that just to plan ahead to get ahead of the crazy business ideas sometimes, but.
Yeah, Mac will definitely take a chance at it. He would definitely take a chance.
Yeah, that's the thing is take a chance, try different things.
Right.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, remember, I mean, I've gone through that kind of thing myself is like, let me try this. Let me try this. I've tried everything out there for marketing strategies, marketing concepts, technology, anything that exists in real estate that people might think to try. I've probably done at some point. So I'm not afraid to take risks, but you learn as time goes on too. You also learn with experience, you start to learn what works better than other things. And I think one of the main things to factor in here is, what does the consumer want? They want to enjoy the experience. They want to make things easy. They want to buy the mattress, buy the house, buy the thing, and have it be enjoyable, an enjoyable experience, not painful. And I think if we can solve for that, that's one of the biggest takeaways. Like, you can't, in our world, real estate and mortgage, I mean, it sounds cool in theory to talk about, but it's not fun. It's one of the most stressful things you can ever go through is buying a property, honestly. But if you're going to go through it and go through the stress, hopefully we can try to keep it somewhat engaging. Maybe we can, do little things to help offset it. Send you a thank you card, send you a closing gift, talk with you at the end about strategy going forward. And people, by the way, realtors especially, I got to commend, there's a lot of realtors I have learned about over the years that have done some really creative things, especially with just planning, like closing housewarming parties around their clients after they close. Like, we'll go fund a whole party in your name, go invite your friends, everything on us. Like, that's just part of the deal.
Right.
Or whatever other thing they can think of. In fact, when I was in South Dakota the other day, visiting the Windsor headquarters, one of the number one realtor in South Dakota was there, which is the number 33, I think, in the country is the stat. And she had this whole PowerPoint, it was like 90 slides of stuff she does for her clients and how she's built these vendor partnerships to create this whole thing to put around families that makes everything easier. It's not just about the house. They take the house out of the equation and they make the whole thing about everything but the house.
Right. She developed the ecosystem.
Yeah, it's genius the way she's done it. And I'm like, wow, blown away. I sent the slides to you, by the way, too, from that in the Google chat, if you didn't see those the other day to download. But it's incredible to me what some creative agents especially have done around this real estate aspect. So nothing's off limits. Think outside of the box. But I think if you think about the client, it only seems crazy it's only crazy if it really doesn't work. But if it makes people happy, I say go for it. Try it. You never know.
Right. I'm gonna say this before I play the clip. I think the only difference between the business idea and the billion-dollar market is execution. So I don't know how you execute it. If you could execute it flawlessly, and its timing as well, in the right time, anything could go. Let's go ahead and run this next clip here. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
What is it about that moves you? Why do you like that?
Well, I've always been involved in sports. I played football at the University of Texas in 69 and 70. And in my last years, I played at North Texas. So I've always been a football guy, and got started, always been gambling.
And what was the Super Bowl bet?
That was when we lost the third.
Oh, that was when Denver was playing Seattle. And these two guys that worked for me were diehard Denver fans. And I sent them to the game. The game was in New York. Super Bowl was in New York. They convinced me in no way that Denver could lose. And so we did a sale on, if you bought anything you bought would be counted toward the promotion. And that was crazy. We sold every damn thing in that whole store.
Piece of furniture
in the whole place.
Okay.
Shut the store down on
Saturday night. I had to climb on top of the table, scream at all these people, no more. We ain't selling anymore because we had nothing left to sell. And these people, these two women got in a fist fight over this couch.
What happens if they buy it and the game goes the right way? It's free? How's it work?
They get their money back. Yeah.
They get their money back.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. Every single thing. And I was already at West Side. And I would come over and help some because Mac would be like, you need to come over and help. It's crazy today. And I remember the warehouse guys, because I used to run the warehouse. The guys were like, oh my gosh.
So they stayed delivered furniture that night till about 4 a.m. because we had to have it delivered for the game.
Yeah.
To make it work.
It didn't
And then-
happen on that
And
one.
we didn't sell it. We closed that Sunday, which is very unusual because we had no furniture to sell. So as the game was on, the guys were still cleaning up the warehouse. We have a treadmill in the little exercise room. So I was back running on this treadmill. I was too damn nervous to watch the game because it was, how much was it?
$13 million
13 million. And so
with no bets.
that nobody was coming in there high-fiving me. So I knew I was pretty much screwed. And then the phone rang and I picked up the phone. It was her. I said, "Who won the game?" She said, "You lost $13 million, you son of a bitch."
Right. So again, I was there. Actually that week I was the number one salesman because it was like shooting fish in the barrel, like, you know. So
Nice.
I think I sold like myself personally, if I want to remember, I think I sold like $250,000 worth of furniture.
Oh my
that
goodness.
week. Yeah, but it was a week.
In a week.
Well, you had from X day to X day to take advantage of the promotion. It was like 1 week. And so, yeah, we did. That is true. We sold every piece of furniture in the store.
Did you get to see the fist fight?
I don't know about the fist. I know they were upset because, you know, I was in line. I was ringing up a customer. And I remember this customer because he gave me $100 tip, you know, as well. Like, here you go.
Nice.
And I'm in line, and Mac hopped on he did hop on the desk and say, "Hey, we're done. We can't sell anymore." And I remember, you know, the crowd, everybody. I don't remember a fight because I'm still with this customer in line trying to get checked out because the lines were outrageous. I know that how the methodology, because we did same day delivery. We'll take stuff off the floor, you know, wrap it up, triple wrap it, shrink wrap, blanket wrap, shrink wrap. He came up with that, and then line it up in the back in the zones back there in the warehouse. So the warehouse was so packed, we had to climb over furniture. It was just like it was furniture everywhere. And then, but the I remember coming in. That's right. We delivered furniture till 4 a.m. I remember going home, showering, and coming right back Sunday morning. And and the store looked like Beirut. You know, the store looked like it was. Imagine 120,000 square foot store, empty.
Yeah.
Totally empty. Like, you know, it's Beirut. You know, we're cleaning. So we worked all day. But Mac was gracious enough. I thought I was gonna have to make deliveries all day because we're so behind. We cleaned up, and then he's like, "All right, you guys want to watch the Super Bowl? Go ahead." So at about 5:00, see, we took off, and I watched part of the game, so I didn't work all night. I thought like, all right, this is gonna be all night tonight. Too. Gonna be all night last night, all night tonight. So, but I got off at 5:00. But that is true. I didn't see the fish fight, but that is true. Like there was nothing left in the store.
That's a good point, by the way, to power of ownership of a good business owner, good business leader treating his people right to keep them happy and make them want to stick around, even if maybe the decision could have cost the company a little bit here.
Or by that, Seattle did him a favor by winning, because if Denver would have won, people would have been pissed off. So people were happy because they're getting free furniture.
Sure.
So, you know, the fact that there's no way logistically we could have made all of the deliveries. It was too much, you know. So we helped clean up the store. We helped prime. Then we had to get everything ready to get all the new furniture back in on the floor, because we saw all the floor model. Everything was gone. You know, people were buying. It was a buying frenzy. So
just to be clear for our audience, though, if the one team won, what happened versus if the other team won, what happened, just so everybody's clear on how this would have gone down, positive or negative.
So the original promotion was if Denver won, then you that's it. It was either win or lose. You know, so if Denver won, you lost your money. Well, you didn't lose your money, you got furniture.
Okay.
If Seattle won, you get your furniture for free. You know, so and everybody was rooting for Seattle. Right, you know, Seattle, you know, because they were an underdog. Denver was a huge favorite, you know, and like he said, everybody was thinking there's no way. I think this was Russell Wilson's first Super Bowl. He was like underdog. They were like the dark horse. Nobody ever thought they would have won, right?
Yeah.
You know,
But
so
then how is the owner Mac here making money either way? What was his intention there?
well, how he made money was that I believe, I don't have concrete evidence that he hedged his bet, but from there is the promotion that he got. He spent 13, he lost 13 million, but really that was on the retail side. That wasn't wholesale. You know, so he gave him back the retail price. You know, so
Right.
wholesale, you didn't pay that much for furniture. Also, it's a write-off.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
he wrote off the furniture. Also, you know, as far as marketing, this all the coverage he got during the Super Bowl commercial by itself is $1 million. He got like 20 minutes during the Super Bowl, like pre-time, all the different press coverages from ESPN and all that stuff. So he got major press. So he probably got $13 million worth of coverage in the press.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, from that. So he kind of won all the way around, because from then on, it was like that
loss perpetuated the cycle of success.
Right. So like, yeah, you think he would have spent the same amount if he would have did the same amount of advertising.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he had so many people write about him and stuff like that. So he got famous over that. And everybody was waiting for the next promotion from there.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question I want to have: would you rather play it safe or stay average, or take calculated risks that could change your business forever? Because I think this right here was the catalyst to changing gallery furniture forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because at one point he was getting to the point where he skewed up, where Restoration Hardware was coming in. It was like, as far as gallery had a certain look. Other people coming in, but this right here was, it changed the trajectory forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so would you rather play it safe and stay average, or take a calculated risk that could change your business forever?
I would say it depends on the circumstance. Personally, I'm less inclined to take that risk than maybe others might be personally, just because, I don't know, I've been doing this a long time. I know I've seen everybody try these different things, and I've seen what works and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of people try a lot of things that does not work at all, that just hurts you in the end, doesn't really help you at all. So I think going through this for so long, the longer you're in it, it's a good thing and a bad thing. You simultaneously, the longer you're in a space, the more you're aware of, the more you see, the more options you've explored and you've talked about or tried or seen others do, succeed or fail. So you have experience behind you. Even if you weren't the one that had the experience yourself, you see the experience around you, and then you can extrapolate from that. What should I do? How should I pursue this? So the longer you're in it, the better. But the longer you're in it, the easier it is to become complacent. Just, I'm good. I got this. Like, I don't need to change anything. Yeah, you guys can go try this other thing, but I'm good. I'm just going to stay the course and do it this way. I think there's a balancing act there of, you got to get out of your comfort zone. If you're in a comfort zone, that means you're too comfortable. If you feel comfortable, that means you're not pushing yourself. If you push yourself, you should be feeling a little bit of discomfort always. Personal opinion. You should always be feeling some discomfort in your business. I don't care if you're what level you're at, brand new starting in business, or you're a hundreds of millions of dollars a year successful person in business. If you feel complacent, you're not playing it risky enough. You're playing it too safe. You need to grow a little bit. You need to expand. You need to think about this. And if you're not sure what to do next, ask other people, just like Mac did with you and others. Just ask for ideas. Hey, what would you do if you were me? Honestly, what would you do? And sometimes the best idea will come from the person you did not expect it to come from. No one related to your business at all. Just some random person you met in your life. Like, have you tried this? Have you thought about this? And then there it is. There's the secret sauce. And then you can run with that and you can grow. So, but calculate the cost. That's a foundational truth. Calculate the cost before you jump into anything. Don't just jump in like, oh, I'm going to do it. Think about it for a sec. Do I have the funds? Is this a good venture to pursue? Is this the right way to put the money towards it? If I'm going to do it, what's the best procedure to track this? And then if it works, how am I going to follow up on this? And if this works as well there, then how am I going to execute on delivering this? And then what's going to look like for the post-closing sales or whatever else you're looking at in your business model? Think through the entire timeline and plan ahead. Don't just jump in thinking, I think that idea could work. It could. And let's just say it does. Assume it will, plan for the rest. And if you have a good plan all the way through, you've got all your tranches filled here, then run with it. But be careful with it, because I see both spectrums. Too careful, do nothing, and do everything run and no thought process, and it kind of works. Again, everything works, and then all of a sudden nothing doesn't because you didn't have any kind of plan to execute or people behind you to really make this thing work well. Does that make sense?
Somewhat, but I have a difference of opinion. I think you always take the calculated risk. I think it change your business. You never know what Mac used to call it landmark activities, that could become a landmark in your business. I'll give you an example. Shrink wrap, blanket wrap, shrink wrap. It was a pain point in the business because if you probably got furniture before. Most furniture stores, what they do, they deliver your stuff brand new in a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes off the truck in a box, but the problem is a lot of times it's coming from China, and when you unbox it, there's scratches, there's blemishes, there's damage.
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening because they never unboxed it. It's been shipped all from hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away. You don't know what's and it's a surprise when and that's what caused rework. Back and forth. I got to go take it back, and then it's going to be another 6 weeks. That's causes customer dissatisfaction. I didn't wait 6 weeks for this furniture. I unboxed it, looked like Godzilla stomped on it, and now I'm pissed off, and it's your fault. Blah blah blah. So Matt came up with this idea. Hey, we're going to unbox everything. We're going to unbox it. We're going to inspect it, and then if there is blemishes, I got a furniture guy right here. He's going to fix it, and then we're going to shrink wrap. We're going to blanket and then shrink wrap it again. So everything comes in like these blue shiny packages. So now that's the norm for everybody. Mac started that years ago, 40 years ago, or 30 years ago, whatever. But all the other people, I think they're still doing it to this day. They have the stuff in a box and they treat the box like garbage, and you unbox in the customer's house and it's trash. Yep. So he inspects every piece of furniture before he gets to your house. So that reduces the rework. So taking that chance, like, all right, I'm going to take my time and have my warehouse guys unbox everything before they even put it on the truck. That could have been just I could just play it safe like everybody else. But that probably saved him billions of dollars in rework. Going to the truck to put it out there. I got to pay the guys to go back out there.
Right.
Customers never coming back because they figure it's your fault that you did this.
Yep.
So that one landmark activity changed the business forever. And then everybody start copying that.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And I love that strategy. That is genius to do that. Because honestly, people, that's what they want. They want the quality of the delivered product that they paid for.
Right.
If you do everything right, I mean, it's the same thing when we do with mortgage lending, right?
Right.
You can have everything go perfectly smooth all the way to the end, and then the title company or the realtor or someone does nothing to do with us. Something happens at the end where great example, the funding of the loan, the wire of money goes to the closing, and then you got to wait as a client for an hour after closing docs for that money to get released to the title company to say, you have authorization to change hands of giving the money to the other party. And sometimes the realtors, the clients, the title company, everybody gets all up in arms over the timing of that, which is why lenders try to get ahead of this. But you can have everything go absolutely perfectly smooth, then you get all the way to the end. And that one little thing derails it, and people start thinking, this whole process is terrible. I hate you, Brandon. I hate you, David, because my closing was 30 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be sitting here at the end.
Right.
Nothing we can do to really control it. That's just the way sometimes it goes. But it's interesting how that it changes your perception. The end result changes that perception. So how can we control the end result? And Mac is spot on with that. Like, let's just fix the barrier that we're running into sometimes of damaged furniture Let's just unbox it, shrink wrap it, do it again, make sure it's absolutely perfect. So there's no chance of this getting messed up.
Right.
And then now everybody's going to have exactly what they expected to have from day one, and you don't have the complaints, and you don't have to deal with all that other extra stuff you just talked about.
Right. So let's get to the clip, but I want to say this: that could easily be changed. I got to get to the next question before I get to the clip. That could easily be changed by adding a landmark activity. I give you an example. If you know it's going to be one of those lenders with a funding fee, where our funding number, should I say, you could, all right, at the end of, I know it's going to be a 30-minute layover. So that's when I'm going to do my interview. I'm going to come there and I'm going to come with the camera and tripod and, hey, can I get you for a testimonial?
Great
And
idea.
I do my testimonials at the end of everything. That way I'm sitting there, we're taking pictures. We're all happy. And, and that's when I give you the gift. I'm back. Here goes the gift. And we are, let me film your reaction. And we make it a whole thing. So I'm keeping their mind
genius. I love that.
Occupied while they don't even realize they've been waiting for the 30 minutes, and that could take that pain point out there. But you make that a landmark activity, and that could relieve that. But that's what Mac was genius at. All right, what activity can we put into as a system? And he always used to say the system is the solution to improve the business.
Yep.
So let's get to this next one here. Are too many people choosing careers based on income instead of purpose and paying the price for it later?
I think yes, absolutely. I think at this point, I mean, we're in business to make money. That's why people get careers. Like nobody wants to go work 40 hours a week and do this kind of thing and whatever they're doing. Typically, that's not the goal of life, is to work. The goal of life is to do many other things than just work. But if you're going to work, you need an income. And if you want to have a good quality of life and you want to provide for a family, well, then you have to have a little higher income. And the bigger family and the better stuff you want, the higher income you have to have. So people start thinking in terms of, well, what pays the most? And then they go pursue whatever pays the most, sometimes not necessarily fulfilling their purpose, what they want to do, but they're doing what they know makes the most money. And then we see a lot of people very, very unhappy in their careers with student loan debt and problems in their family and all kinds of other things because they killed themselves to do this. Sometimes you see that. But, if it's the video I think we're watching here in a second here, then there's the other side of it where maybe you do find your purpose, you do find what you want to do, you love what you do, and perhaps what you just picked that fulfills your purpose will help you in your career monetarily as well. It's a byproduct,
Right.
but not necessarily. There's a lot of people that love what they do, don't make a whole lot of money, and they're okay with that.
Right.
And I would argue that person is far happier and better off than the person that makes 10 times what they make and is not happy with the way that they're running their life.
Right. I mean, I think here in America that we're fall into this category a lot. If you go abroad, like Thailand, where I'm thinking about going, Vietnam, there's people that live a simpler life, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to live that simple life. They're a fisherman, they're a farmer, and they have enough money to feed their kids, and their kids work on the farm. They all have food to eat. They all have a roof over their head, and they live a simple life. I think here in America, we play to keep up with the Joneses. We got to have the latest Xbox. I got to have the bigger iPhone. I got to have the bigger yacht. I got to have the, all of these trinkets. You have this one. I have this one. So I think we play those games here a lot because of the society, the way it is. But I think if you chase purpose, and I think, and we're going to develop this as we go on. I think if you chase your purpose and then maximize what you got, I think it then can monetize. I think think about it. If Mac would have took the same blueprint of every other mom and pop furniture store that's out there, there's thousands you don't hear about.
Right.
There's thousands across the United States. In Houston alone, there's 3,500 furniture stores.
Oh my goodness. Just in Houston?
Just in Houston, 3,500 of them.
Oh my goodness.
So
That's probably more than there are real estate agents, even, aren't there?
No, there's almost 90,000 real estate agents in Houston. Don't forget, Houston's the fourth largest.
It's true, but my goodness, oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was that big. Wow.
Yeah, Houston is crazy. But as far as furniture, there's furniture stores everywhere. Most you never hear about. So he could have took that approach. Hey, I want to sell furniture. I love the people, the excitement that people get when they get new furniture, and that could have been it.
Yeah.
But he chose to maximize. I want to be the GOAT in this. And then he became a billionaire by constantly improving, constantly expand. You know, not to expand where he doesn't lose control. That's another thing. He could have franchised this thing out. People offered him millions of dollars.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And he didn't, right? He kept it all himself.
He's a control. He's definitely a control freak. I don't think it works without. I don't think it works without him. But let's run this clip.
Which, by the way, to your point, that actually could have been something he easily could have done with the popularity he built. From what you've explained, he could have done that, and he probably would have made even more money had he gone and done that. But perhaps that's not what he wanted to do for his purpose. He was focused not on the income as much as the purpose. So he makes a really solid income, but he's enjoying what he wants to do simultaneously. There's a balancing act there. And I think that's a great example of he didn't take it too far.
Well, you got to know Mac. If he doesn't, he would drive himself crazy if he had 12 furniture stores, if he had 14 furniture stores. Because running those three, he listens to everything. He watches every sale. Every sale it gets a printout, and he circles his board, and he looks at every salesman with the sales. He is definitely in control. He's definitely at the helm. You know, so it would drive him. You know, at one point he had two radios and one radio in each ear, one in each store. Like, what are you doing?
Wow. Okay. So when you talk about control, that might be one of the greatest examples of a control freak I think I've ever heard there.
Right. Like, yeah, you know, he had two radios on at one point. So yeah, I got plenty of stories. So let's go ahead and run this clip, you know, because we do have a couple more. All right. So let me know when you can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
And you can also make money at it.
Yeah, that's what those kids ask me all the time. Give me the best career advice. Find a job you love to do, and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the job that your mom or dad wants you to take, or the first job. Just keep going till you find one that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. Then you found your meaning in life. And I think one of the big problems in this country is so many people don't find that fulfillment in work, and they're lost.
Yeah, this was a short one.
So you're just.
So the question I want to pose is success measured by how much money you make, or by waking up excited to do what you were built to do?
Yep. And I think I mean, the money, like we talked about, the money should follow, but you should do what you want to do in life. And if you feel fulfilled by this and you're doing a good job and you're helping people, then you've done the right thing. You're good. Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses. Don't worry about the next person next to you. Just go, do what you're doing and enjoy your life and pursue what you want to pursue. I think that's a big piece of this world, the element of work that I think a lot of people miss is they think like you said, I got to go get the career. I got to get the university degree. I got to pursue this thing to build the income so I can have the big house and the yacht and all the other things. And it happens. Now, granted, I mean, honestly, people might be watching this, and I just want to point out, like, you see, like, Brandon's degrees behind him of all the education he has, and my office and the books and the nice office. Like, we've done well for ourselves, I think, in business overall because we enjoy, both of us. We're really passionate about what we do in helping families, and I think money follows success. However, why I do what I do has nothing to do with money. My first 7 years of business, I don't know about you, Brandon, but like my first 7 years of business, I didn't make more than, I think my best year, I made 18 grand. Like
I've never had a year where I didn't make six figures.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when I first started off, I was struggling trying to get by, but I didn't care what I was making. I knew this is what I wanted to do for my career. And one way or another, I was going to make it happen. So it took me 7 years, 21 years doing this now. But my first 7 years, it took a massive grind for me to be able to do this, to get to that point where the money followed the passion. So I think if you're doing, but I didn't care. I was still happy about the fact that I knew I was building towards something better. And eventually this business, this career of mortgage advising was going to take me out of the realm of construction, because I knew if I stayed in construction, that's going to kill me. I can't do that for the rest of my life. This I can do the rest of my life. I can't do that. Eventually, my back, my knees, everything will give out. And I'll be like all of my friends and my family friends and their dads and their grandpas growing up that I knew they were all in construction. I'm going to be just like that, hardly able to walk, barely, never able to retire, trying to struggle to get by. I didn't want to deal with that. I wanted to help families make an impact, have a better income, a better life for myself, my family. And I enjoyed it, even though I made no money at first. So I think success is measured by doing what you're built to do and going. Let the money follow. It'll follow. If you stay committed long enough, you do this the right way, and then get out of your comfort zone and try some unique things that nobody else is willing to do, like we just talked about a second ago, that'll help perpetuate this further too, if you can be different than anybody else.
Right. This is where Mac and always used to have disagreements about this all the time. We used to have tons of. This is where I disagree. Let me answer the question, then I'll put it in this context with some like an anecdote as well. Success is measured by how much money you make in this country. I think it's both. You have to find what you want to do, like Mac did. Find what you're excited about doing, what you're built to do, but make as much money as possible doing it. Learn how to monetize and maximize that potential of that particular venture. So that's always been my philosophy. As good as noble, yeah, I want to, as long as I'm happy, we, as a man especially, we have not only provide for ourselves, but we have to provide for a spouse and a family as well. Also, right. So we have an obligation. So in this country, nobody's gonna, if stuff becomes unaffordable, who's responsible for that? You are, as the head of the household. So, hey, but I'm doing what I want to do. No, when kids want to go to the soccer game and they want to, take extra taekwondo lessons, who that's going to fall back on?
Well, and that only works for so long too. Like even if you have a very supportive family and friend base and all of that, if you are unsuccessful for too long,
right, you won't have that family for long.
You're gonna still have the naysayers coming around, and it's gonna start getting louder and louder and louder to the point where they're basically telling you, Brandon, David, why don't you just quit? Why are you trying this anymore? Clearly it didn't work. You're done. Or
better yet, they'll tell your wife to quit.
Right.
Exactly. And she quit on you. There goes your support system.
Yep.
And that happens to a lot of over 60% of 60 to 70%. I think it's approaching 70% now, right?
It's almost, it's over 60%. It's not quite 70, but it's over 60. The last stats I heard on divorce rates.
Right.
But it's getting worse and worse. And I think money is one of the biggest factors here. The money and the time.
I think it's one of the biggest factors is financial, why couples split. So this is a lot of pressure on a man, so you can't just rely on, hey, I'm excited to do it. You can't be happy for me. No, your family's going to want to be taken care of. And then don't forget, this society, America loves a winner.
Exactly.
They love a winner. They love a comeback story. It is what it is. You can fight about the game. You can complain about it. It's not right. It shouldn't be like this, but it is.
I don't know. We've watched a lot of videos over the years too of like CEOs being interviewed and things like that too. And I don't know if I've ever seen or heard of any successful person in life in the business world that has said, oh yeah, I just kind of grew up in money and I just did what they told me to do as my parents and grandparents, and then everything worked out just fine. Like, no, they all dropped out of school, usually high school half the time, or more than half the time. They dropped out of high school even. They didn't even go to high school. And then they pursued their passion and they grinded at this thing for who knows how long. And everybody attacked them and said no. And then they built the thing and then became multimillionaires or billionaires in some cases. And then everybody now wants to be their friend again. Right. Because it took them to follow their grind, their passion, and what made them excited to wake up, which is the question here. So,
and this is I'm doing this diatribe to kind of lead to my, and this is I want to get into this anecdote, and I want to kind of lead it to this next question: how me and Mac disagreed. This is one of the biggest things that we disagreed upon as well, because one of the things that I did as a training and development manager is help recruit. My job was to train all the salespeople, also evaluate their talent and help develop them as good salespeople. Right.
That's cool.
And that's hence the book. This book right here. That's Gallery 101, like sales and nucleus of building profession.
On the wall there, or
sales and nucleus. That's my first book that I wrote. Basically,
nice. Very cool.
That's our 7-step process. I greet the receipt process that we teach at Gallery Furniture. And it's very, very so millions of dollars of furniture with that particular 7-step process. But one of the things he made me do was all right, so as far as talent, when we was about to open the store in Richmond, what are we looking for? I want you to name 20 attributes, I think it was, that you're looking for in candidates for salespeople. And my first thing was money motivated. Money motivated. I want people that's money motivated. And this, I still take this to the day. When I ran a furniture store last year, and this was my first year dropping the part-time in the mortgage business since I've been in it. When I ran a furniture store last year, still to this day, I still ask the same interview question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, how would you rank your money motivation? And if they don't answer 10, I'm not going to hire them. I'm sorry. That's one thing. I'm stubborn with Matches Mac. I gave him the report that I did with the 20 attributes. That was my first thing, number 1. And he scratched it out. Shh. Nah. We don't want people that's money motive. If you're just doing it for money, blah, blah, blah. Nah, I disagree. It's
funny enough, back when there was a period there when I was starting off where I was doing about 20 to 25 interviews a week. Self-sourced, found these people, cold calling out of Yellow Pages, calling businesses to bring them in to teach and train and do interviews. Every people I interviewed, 20, 25 a week for 2 years straight. I was asking questions. The number one thing I was looking for, similar to this, was how would you rate your work ethic on a 1 to 10? Because I feel like sometimes it's money driven, sometimes it's not. Either way, I want to know, how hard do you want to work? And then I want to know, question B, why are you willing to work this hard? What is driving this? What is it behind you? Are you struggling financially that you can barely get by? Are you good and you're trying to change career paths? Is there something you're trying to do for your family or your kids? Are you trying to pursue something else down the road? Are you trying to buy that next property in real estate or start that next business? Or what is it you're looking to do that why you want to come here and make more money? So work ethic and why. Those are the two things for me: work ethic and why the work ethic, which I think honestly is kind of sort of the same thing you're looking for too in a roundabout way. But
no, work ethic was like my, I think it was in the top 10. I think it was number 7 or 8. But work ethic is a little bit different than money motivation. And what I was saying is, and the reason behind it is that I think anything else is just fluff. I think we get out of work to make money. I think this system is designed around money. It just is what it is. Let's not kid ourselves. Mm-hmm. If we didn't need to make money, even before there was money, there was the barter system, right? There was, I give you 2 cows for my daughter or whatever. It was, it was the barter system.
A terrible trading system back
then.
Right.
I'm making a joke, but that's what it was. But it's always had things of value, it's perceived value. And that's what we're actually putting in to provide for our families, to provide a better life, so on and so forth. Yeah. So let's not kid ourselves. I understand selling noble. I read Noble Selling. I think that's the name of the book. Selling with a noble purpose. I think it's either noble selling or selling. That's all fine and dandy. I hear that. However, if it's let's keep it meat and potatoes. People are here to make money.
Right.
Let's not kid ourselves. So if you're not motivated by that, whether regardless to what behind that, like I give you an example, like Dusty wanted to make money because he wanted to pay for his sister's education. Roger, who I talked about last week, who's exiled from Turkey because he got persecuted because he converted to Christianity. He wanted to make money to go back and save his family. His family was still in Turkey. They had, who's that? Pac-Man. Pac-Man wanted to make money because everybody wanted to make money for different reasons. Regardless of what the reason is, you need money is the solution. So,
I think your question then, honestly, your question might be better than mine of like, why do you want to work hard? What's your work ethic like? 1 to 10. Right. Same question you had of 1 to 10 on why do you want to make money? Are you money motivated?
No. What's your money motivation?
What's your money motivation? 1 to 10.
Yeah.
But in either case, I still think no matter what that question is, ask why. If you understand the why behind it,
that's the follow-up.
Then that makes a lot more sense, because the why for some people my parents said I should get a good job, so I guess I kind of want to make money because I want to make them proud. I guess I don't know.
Those are the worst employees because you can't dangle the carrot in front of them. Yep. If somebody's making you come here and you don't want to be here, there is no motivation.
Exactly.
I could always, as a manager, hey, you do this, you could actually hit your bonus. You do this, or I could positively motivate you. I could negative. Hey, go ahead, clock out. That way you're not getting paid today. You're not gonna make money. Hey, you fix your attitude to clock out.
Yep. So then you find out why. Like they both put a 10. Right. The kid that says, well, my parents told me to come here and I put a 10, ask that secondary question of why.
Right.
You may not want to hire them, but you ask the person, like, I actually need this, and if I don't make this work, I'm going to be on the street tomorrow. Right.
That's the best employees. Now, the people that say all those particular people, again, based on my experience, and I've done, I don't want to say thousands, I want to say hundreds of, maybe thousands of interviews.
I'm going to say similar. Probably not over 1,000. Probably hundreds myself. Not 1,000.
But usually those people that are, hey, I'm a 6 or a 7. Money's not the only thing. Money's not that important. They're the worst employees. They wind up not working out because they don't have the ethic to go out and get it. But that brings me to my next point. Can meaningful work heal a person in ways that money, success, and comfort never will? And I want to answer this first before I get the clip. Let me. Did I put the clip up? Yeah, I did. So I already got the clip up. That's why, because I wanted to segue to this. Can meaningful work heal a person? Now, I do think work is great. Work is life's greatest therapy, like Max said. I do agree to that. However, if you work without money or the validation, or you're uncomfortable, you're not going to be working for long. It won't heal you for long. I think it has to come hand in hand. I think people work, it heals them because they making money. They're able to provide for their family, what gives them meaning. They're able to be successful. I'm able to keep a job, for X amount of years, and I'm stable. And then my family's comfortable. I think it goes hand in hand. And that in turn equals that whole ecosystem and that support system, which heals that person, especially men, and I've seen like Darryl Mouton, who's the top salesman to this day. There, he played for Rice University, then played for the Bills
at the same location, Mattress Max.
Yeah, he only has Mattress Max runs all of his 3 locations. I think it's down to 2 now. I think he closed the Uptown store, but is one in Richmond, one in the original location. But again, he runs both of them. There's no there's sales managers, but there's no like general managers. He runs them. He runs them every day. So there's training managers, I don't think I don't think there's a training manager anymore. I don't know. I might have to ask. I hadn't been in a while, so I'm gonna have to ask. What are you doing for training?
Maybe he's hiring.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's hiring. I think a lot of the people that's been there when I train are still there to this day.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Very
a
nice.
decade later, like Will Smith and all of them, Will Smith, Kong, Francis, all of those people are still there. So
Very cool.
but Food's still there. I think Food made it to a sales manager now. Like all those guys still there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it goes hand in hand. I think like Daryl Mouton, he was ex NFL player, played for the Bills for a couple of years, worked as at least odd jobs, was never able to live up to, because they thought he was going to be a successful NFL player, and he only had like a rookie contract, and that money ran out, and he did odd jobs, and now he went to Gallery Furniture and became the top salesman and making $250,000 a year. So
It is funny. It's funny how many professional sports players have gotten into sales.
Right.
They correlate so well together because they have that coachability, the grind, the hustle, the go, and then they migrate that over into sales and they go and they're successful.
Right.
It's amazing how that works.
So yeah, Daryl, like I said, he testified all the time like that. This job was able to get him because at first Daryl was catching he was catching rides. He wasn't catching the bus. He was catching rides there.
Nice.
The ex-NFL guy catching rides to get to work. He didn't have a car. His wife had I think they had one vehicle. His wife had the car.
Oh, that's too bad.
So now he's driving around in a Range Rover. Kids education paid for. I think he put 2 kids through college.
Good for him.
Oh, nice. So that, I think, with meaningful work along with the money, success, and comfort, that does heal.
Right. But we got to remember here, not secluding all of our audience, completely here, there's a large majority of the population that is their personality type is focused on relationships, giving, the nonprofit organizations out there trying to help families. They're literally making next to nothing. And they're happy and enjoying what they do, trying to give back and help the community. And they wake up fueled and fired and ready to go every day. So it's not always the money. I mean, some of these people are going off and living in other countries trying to give back and help and dig water ditches and go teach, like a lot of people that I know, off teaching in other parts of the world, completely unpaid, just because they want to give back and help. Meaningful work will fulfill you more than all the rest will. But it's a lot easier to do the other things and have money, success, and comfort if you enjoy what you do with meaningful work in the first place. If you hate what you do, all the money, success, and comfort in the world will not help you. You will be unhappy. You will struggle. I mean, that's a basic life principle. If you do not have the meaning in your life,
I respectfully disagree because you could be in the Peace Corps, you could go all around the world, but if you come back and your lights are off, and your wife has a Dear John letter because you hadn't been here, that is not going to heal you. That's going to actually make it worse.
Of course,
I think especially as a man, I get, you doing meaningful work, but the meaningful work has to come with the stability.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're not in disagreement on this.
Right.
I'm just making sure to point out if it's a lot easier to enjoy the money, success, and comfort if you enjoy what you do.
I agree with that.
If you don't enjoy what you do and you have all that, you still might be unhappy. So if you can find alignment with, hey, you know what? Maybe mattress sales is not necessarily what makes you super, get out of bed. Like, let's jump, get out of bed, right? Maybe that doesn't make you go. But if you make it your meaning in life to help other people and do the right thing, and you're focused on your money and success and comfort with other families, and helping them, and you're helping your own family, and you can find ways to cohesively tie this all together. Maybe you can even take something that you're not as passionate about, but does give you money, success, and comfort that you can marry to that, or vice versa, right?
Right. But the question is, can meaningful work heal a person in ways that money, success, and comfort never will?
So keep in mind, don't forget, you're talking to someone that spends many, many hours each week unpaid teaching, training, and helping families just because it is meaningful to me and I enjoy it.
Right.
So that's part of where I'm coming from. Is there's a lot of people I know out there like
but
that.
But it said that never can meaningful work heal a person in ways that money, success, and comfort never will. I think it goes hand in hand. I think you can. I think you could, if you did that work, and your marriage was on the rocks, and your lights are about to get cut off.
Exactly.
Can you concentrate on that work? Can you concentrate on? That's why even when a plane goes down, it says put your oxygen mask on first before you help others.
Exactly. That's my point. Is
right.
The balance here of you can't just give up and go help people and never take care of yourself and do what you need to do.
Right.
But there's a way that sometimes you can, because here's the thing is some of our audience here, I'm thinking like in our audience terms as well. Anybody here watching, you might not be a business owner doing exactly what you want to do today. Maybe you're stuck in that dead-end job you feel like. Maybe you're in a business that you kind of like, that maybe your parents got you into or a friend got you into, or you stumbled your way into it and it's not that great for you. Like maybe it's mattress sales or something like that as an example. But if you can turn it into something that you can make yourself passionate about and make it meaningful to you, whatever you're in, or start searching and finding the thing that will create meaning in your life, all of a sudden, everything else just got a whole lot easier because your entire mental focus just shifted. Does that make sense?
Somewhat. Like I said, I think it goes hand in hand. I think it only heals you if you have the actual stability, and then that occupies you. But let's get to the clip. That's my point. I think people I think it's noble. People say this stuff, but again, it all traces back to the money. Let's not kid ourselves. So
it's true. It's true.
Right. It sounds good.
It sounds good. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do really well financially. You do really well business wise. But it sounds like you're just completely and you're not like gallivanting around and jetting around. You're just working.
Work's life's greatest therapy. Gonna do it every day. That's what we do. Work saved my daughter's life. Elizabeth, tell them that story.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, Liz is our daughter that has OCD.
Yeah,
she's a really severe OCD.
Yeah.
So that during that time, I didn't work quite as much because I had to spend a lot of time with her.
Right.
When she was in like 8th or 9th grade, she washed her hands 8 or 10 hours a day till they bled. It was psychotic, screaming at her sister, "What did I do to deserve this? Get a knife and kill me." Every night. It was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we stayed with her. Everybody said farm her out to some institution. We weren't going to do that,
Yes.
And so we stayed with it and got her some help. And then she got some good professors at U of H, got a PhD in psychology, social work. And now she's one of the premier. She found her passion by serving other people with the same disease, OCD, and that work saved her life.
Yeah.
So we're huge believers that work's life's greatest therapy.
Yeah, man, that is a tough circumstance to go through to deal with, both as the child going through that and the parents having to deal with that too. And I feel like more and more parents are going through this lately of dealing with that with their children. That's a really tough situation.
Right. So my question, the follow-up question was: do people find their purpose first, then become successful, or does success come after discovering a purpose bigger than themselves?
I think some people are fortunate enough to find this very quickly in life, but arguably most find it later in life. Some never do. But you have to be looking for it in the first place. You got to be searching for it. If you're not looking for that next opportunity, that next thing, if you're not keeping your eyes open and you're really actively looking, you won't see it. We had that video the other week of the guy sitting in the room being interviewed, and he's like, tell me everything brown in the room. Like, look at it. Okay, great. Now tell me how many things are red, right? And the guy's like, I can't tell you that because I was looking for brown or whatever. So or whatever colors they were. It's really easy to hone in on what you're doing and miss other opportunities if you're not looking for other opportunities. But that's my thought on that point. There is sometimes you can find it, but I think most people find it later in life. It doesn't happen right away.
I think the answer is that both of it's actually it should be an or. People do find their purpose first, and then become successful at it. That's a good way. And success comes after discovering a purpose bigger than yourself. So I give you an example like Mac, figuring to use his platform for more than just, immediately helping families. Now I could go ahead and help the community. I could go ahead and do this. I could go ahead and do this. Now I'm capitalized. I could go ahead and do more. I'll give you an example. Mac, we're going to get to this later on. Mac started the first mobile stroke, what is it? Mobile stroke mobile.
What's that? I'm not even sure.
So most people that are victims of stroke, they pass.
Stroke. Got it.
Yeah. They pass because it takes so long for the ambulance to come. This is
right.
A mobile stroke thing that has, I guess they have it's almost like a band or something to your heart where it gives you the early indications, and it automatically summons that mobile, and they already are headed to you before it gets to. So it and they have all the equipment in that particular vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So he sponsored that. Also, you will see later on. Well, I don't think I put that in there. He put on his property 3 free schools. One for building furniture. One for like something else, like 3 schools, and they were able to get a trade for free. With no student debt, no student loan debt. Mm-hmm. So he opened this platform. Also, I don't know if you know, Mac feeds about 300. Well, we got 400 employees. Well, they had 400 employees, so he feeds about 300 to 350 additional people every day.
Nice.
So he has
that's a video coming up, I think, where he talks about that one, isn't it?
I think I left that out. If I don't think I put that one in.
Oh, you sent it to me to watch ahead of time. So
okay, I might have. I thought, but he has a restaurant in there. He has a restaurant in both stores actually, where people eat for free.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's what we call it, the reciprocity restaurant, where we will bring the customers there. All right, this is my guest, and have them eat and stuff like that. And then because that's the number one, not the number one, is one of the top excuses. Well, let's go ahead and eat. We got to think about it. No, hey, here you go. Here goes some food on us right here. Go ahead and eat. Then after they eat, all right, we thought about it. Now I gave you a meal. I fed you. Sometimes I'll sit down and eat with you. And we done had a meal together. Now, how can you tell me no that you don't want to buy this furniture now that I spent all this time with you?
Yep.
I didn't put the obligation into you. I done fed you for free. I done fed the kids. I done laughed at your jokes and all that stuff.
Yep.
Now you got to buy it.
Your chances of buying go way up.
Way up. Because what happens is, people leave the store and, they, there's traffic. Let's think about it, and then never come back.
Uh-huh.
So the restaurant started like that, but he started feeding people as well.
Right.
From there, and then
if the video's not in here, I think that the video, if I remember, that you sent me was, I mean, literally, there was a period there where he went through a specific event where something had happened. I forget what the disaster was or something like that, but it was like thousands of people he had brought in to help feed and house and all that too.
Well, I think that was after a hurricane, but that's Yeah,
and you got to respect that giving back to the community that way. I mean, that's a huge thing to do. Obviously, to an extent, it's publicity. It's tied to money as well. Like, you can't say it isn't. I mean, that's part of the whole reason it's done.
Right.
But there's nothing if you're still helping the people,
Right.
that's still a really, really good thing to do. If he happens to sell more mattresses in the process, great.
Right.
But
It all feeds each other. That's I think now you're cooking with grease, because I think that's what our founding fathers wanted, to where you had the freedom to give, and then by giving you receive more, and it all feeds itself. Now I have the freedom to pick and choose which charities that I want to take interest in.
Mhm.
You know,
Sure.
and for Mac, what he did was he'll give speeches at the local schools, elementary schools and stuff like that. And then he'll go ahead and furnish the teachers' lounges with all new furniture and all new leather furniture and stuff like that. He did that for local football team. Then he'll give a speech. So I can't tell you the amount of times that I sold $10,000 leather couches, because I'm only doing this because Mac sponsored our football team, and he had all he had us in our weight room, and we got a new weight room and all that stuff. So it's the reciprocity.
Yep.
So to answer the question, he found his purpose, became successful, and then discovered a higher purpose the bigger he got.
And then he kept perpetuating it, as we saw in that last video, or last videos. He more and more and more giving back, more risk, more marketing,
right,
more doubling down, until it just kept growing. And I mean, you see this guy, you'd think this guy is like nationwide, thousands of stores level size.
Right.
I had no idea until talking with you more. I had no idea this guy only had 3 stores or 4 stores or whatever it was.
It's 3, was down to 2 now. I think
down to 2. 2 stores, right? Like a 2-store furniture guy accomplished this because he had a passion for what he did, loved what he did, but he was smart about it. He listened to other people. He implemented what other people said. He was coachable to himself and from others.
And
he took calculated risks.
Right. And I give you a personal testimony. Like, this is, for me, with my type of skills, with my type of education, and I'm not using this as a victim or excuse or anything like that. I've had interviews where it's been 30 seconds.
Really?
Love me over the phone, see me in person. Oh, no. We just talked for 30 minutes, 45 minutes on the phone. You love me.
Sure.
So he wasn't scared.
You're saying they didn't want to meet with you in person after?
No, they met. I've driven. Don't forget how big Houston is. I've driven before.
You're saying after you talk with someone, you'd meet in person, and then after the impression is given in person, and they see the face.
They just see me and stop. Right. Bam, nope. You love me over the phone. I just drove 40.
If I stood next to you, I'm pretty sure I'd come up to like maybe your underarm right there.
No, I'm only.
I'd be like, this. I should probably listen to this guy.
Right. But this to finish the testimony, but Max doesn't care about that. Max is not. Somebody's gonna like me, and Mac's not afraid to take risks. So you paying it? I don't know if I told you the story. I'm gonna tell you this real quickly. I got hired on the spot.
Nice.
I got paid a 6-figure salary on the spot, and I've been on before, like interviews, 4 interviews, 5 interviews. Way below my pay grade. So. Mac is not scared to pay you what you're worth, and he doesn't care about appearance.
He can read between the lines there,
right?
I by the way, for what it's worth, I had that same thing happen to me a couple of years or 4 years ago. Literally, like 10 minutes into a conversation, it's like, "That's all I need to hear. Do you want to come work with us and open a branch for us?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Right.
Retail company, like, okay, I guess. I mean, if you like, no, you understand exactly the vision, what you were going for. I believe you're going to be a good fit. I want you here. And I'm like, that made me feel good.
But you never experienced the opposite.
No, I've had the opposite too.
Right.
I have had the opposite where, because so for me, my prejudice was age. I still look young, I think, for my age, because
Right.
I'll be 40 here in a few days. So I still look young, I think, for my age. But back 21 years ago when I started, I really looked young for my age. So nobody listened. Nobody trusted me. Nobody wanted to do anything with me. Even the places I was trying to get hired at for delivering pizzas on the side while I built this didn't want to hire me because they were like, how old are you? Like, can you drive? Do you have a license? Like, like, what's your experience? Do you have any experience? And I was trying to get into these different roles in these places. And they're like, sorry, like, best we could do is put you maybe part-time as like the wait staff or sorry, at the front desk or a driver or something. Like, we're not going to bring you on as even a waiter. We're not even going to let you work in the restaurant or do anything because you have no experience and you clearly don't know what you're doing, even though I did. So I still dealt with it. It's just in a different world of.
I think it's a little bit different because a lot of things I'm way more experienced, and college degree, ran my own business, turned it into $1 million business in year 2.
Very good point. I can't relate to that point.
Right.
You
so I'm overqualified.
Yes. I was underqualified. You were overqualified. That was exactly
overqualified. So it got to be something else. So it's not the fact that I can't do the job.
Yeah. Good point.
So so it's slightly different. So
by the way, Brandon, for the record, I like you.
Right. Well, but my point is that, Mac is not scared to take chances, and that's why he wins. A lot of people are scared to get out of their comfort zone, whether you feel intimidated by me or whether you're, whatever you got going on. Again, I don't take it personal anymore because I realize that you missed out, and Mac made out like tenfold. I think I influenced the Super Bowl. Everywhere I go, you're gonna make out tenfold. I was one of the top salespeople. I trained people that's there till this day. So by giving me that opportunity, he made out. A lot of people wouldn't give me opportunity based on appearance. Cool, that's fine, but you missed out on a stellar employee. You missed out on a hitter because you're scared. Whatever you got going on, you miss out, and that's what a lot of people do. They want people in a certain mold. If you don't fit a certain mold, then they don't feel they're not comfortable in diversity.
Yeah. And to be fair, to your point,
right.
Everybody deals with a little bit of preconceived notions and prejudice and all that, but the further you are away from this guy, the white lily white American, average looking man, the further away you go from that, the harder it oftentimes gets. And it is just absolutely mind-boggling to me that even to this day, you still see this all the time happening in the stories that I hear from friends and others like yourself and others. And the guy I've just met with the stories I heard from this guy who, by the way, immigrated here from another country. He's Muslim, told me about how he's literally been threatened with death multiple times by mobs and everywhere around the world, just because of his cultural background. Nothing to do with anything other than the preconceived notions. Like, we think we have it bad, and then we meet somebody that's had it worse and worse and worse, and it starts to help you understand, boy, we really do have it pretty good sometimes in comparison to others.
Right. So my next question is just to get into this, when life knocks you down, what determines your future more, your circumstances or your decision to keep moving forward? And this kind of piggybacks what I was just saying as far as I didn't take that as a setback. I didn't take that as personal. And this kept me in the back of my mind, like, hey, I'm looking at a lot of these people that's in these positions. And they're not more qualified than me. They're not more talented than me. They're not smarter than me. None of this. However, this showed me that I need to be an entrepreneur and stop. I can't be a W-2 employee. You know, I need to be who I am. My roots, my pot is. I mean, I'm too big for that small pot. I need to be planted in the ground. You know, some people are not for pots. You know, with soil.
Yeah,
I have to be planted.
I am unemployable. Honestly, you try to tell me what to do, I'm gonna like on principle. Nope, I'm gonna do the opposite just because.
Right. So, your circumstances doesn't shape you. Again, don't forget it's about how you react to what's going on. You know, you could let it fold you. You could curl up in the ball, but nobody cares, especially as a man. Nobody cares about a man.
Yeah.
You know, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know,
you're a man, suck it up and deal with it.
Suck it up and deal with it. You know, so nobody cares about that. So, can you let your circumstances define you? You can, but nobody's going to care, and then you're not going to be able to move forward. You're going to be in circles.
Yeah. Which, by the way, just as a reminder, it took me a long time to find this. I mean, over almost 20 years to find it, but my tagline in my entire business now across all my social media and everything is my team name is the Infinite Team, Infinite Possibilities. You can go anywhere. Anything's possible. You just need to tagline, find your path forward. And everybody's got a different path to walk and everybody's got a different way of getting there. Maybe it's two people with the same circumstances and the same vision, but you might take a different route to get there and how you do it. But finding your path forward is the key to making this work. No matter where you are in life now, that doesn't define what you have to stay at. You can move forward. You just have to make that decision to want to move forward. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You have the worst circumstances in the world. And we have success story upon success story across the world of people that have been in that situation. They've put their mind to it and they've gone and they've run. Keep going. Even if you get knocked down, you keep getting up. You keep going with this. And eventually, it will almost always work, probably better than you even expected.
Right. This next clip I got James, who is actually I thought we were closer to age. We're actually close to age, yeah. So so actually we all three of us got one thing in common. I get this from my mentor. We make our phone numbers public and we still have the same phone number. So I look at the clip and James had the same phone number from way back then. And same do I, you know. So again, I like Matt.
What year did you create your phone number by chance?
2007.
7? Okay. I think I think I got you beat. I think I made my phone number 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Same number.
What was that, during prime code years?
It was actually, so it was right when T-Mobile first launched.
Right.
I was like one of the very first. We were one of the first families on the T-Mobile plan.
Right.
And then from that T-Mobile plan, like literally same phone number, 651-497-6770, same number since I was 15 years old. So what did that be? That would be, I'm almost 40, right? Mm-hmm. So what is that? 25 years?
Right.
I'm proud of that. Like same number. You call me again. Like I've actually had friends like, hey, I'm just texting you. Like we were friends 25 years ago. Is this still your number? And I'm like, yes, it is. And I'm so proud of that. So key point, don't change your number if you want to be successful in business, by the way. You never know who might reach out to you.
Well, the premise on Mac is that he's not running from anything. You know, so he says don't run from it, run to it. You know, so people change their number because you're running from something. What are you running from? Bill collectors? You running from ex-girlfriends? What are you running from? Mm-hmm. You know, who do you not want to speak with? Yep. You know, so he actually bit my head off one day for screening his phone call. I'm like, yeah, he's busy right now. He's like, don't ever do that. Always give me the phone. So he doesn't run from anything. In fact, I think he says this he said this on the one that I cut out. He still calls everybody the deliveries from the day before. He still calls each and every one of them. Wow. You know, as a billionaire. Amazing. Yeah. So
you got to give him kudos for being willing to put in that kind of dedication and time commitment to just really caring about people and doing the right thing and running a tight ship.
Right. Well, he says he does it because if there's any problem, you snuff it up from the get-go. All right. You ran to it. All right. How's your furniture? All right. Oh, the delivery driver tipped the corner or chipped the corner. Okay. Now we can fix it right away. Mm-hmm. Instead of, running from it. Oh, I don't want to talk to her. She's going to be a problem. Nah, run to it. Don't
Right.
run from it.
Right. Makes total sense.
Right. So let's go ahead and run this one. This is James right here. This is Mattress Mac's son.
My name is Robert Mackingvale, and I'm Mattress Mac's son. This month in February, we were fortunate to celebrate my father's 74th birthday, my sister Elizabeth's birthday, and the birth of twins to my sister Elizabeth. Mazel tov to Elizabeth and Matt. My parents started Gallery Furniture with $3,700 in a dream on the feeder of the North Freeway, and now they have 3 locations, employ over 400 Houstonians, and Mac and Linda are pillars of the Houston community. Watching my father have open heart surgery in mid-December, which was his greatest setback in my natural life, was one of the hardest experiences of my life. It was impossible watching my lifelong hero, who I had viewed as invincible, become bedridden, and so inspiring within a week to watching him walk again when they said he wasn't ready. Mac was then straight back to work on the day he was released from the hospital, and now, 8 weeks later, is back, better than ever. Mac is a living example of being grateful for everything and entitled to nothing. I'm so honored to have him as my father, and for all of us to have him as one of our leaders of our beloved city. I remember my sister Elizabeth when she was 13 years old being diagnosed with extreme obsessive compulsive disorder, and my parents being told that her hopes of a normal life were dashed and basically to give up on her. Elizabeth did extensive inpatient care, has done extensive talk therapy her entire life, and went from saying that she was terrified to ever have children because she would very likely pass OCD along to them to now having 4 beautiful, wonderful children. Elizabeth went from someone who they didn't expect to graduate high school to not only graduating from Westfield High School, but then college, then her PhD, and then becoming one of the world's foremost experts and leaders in OCD and OCD treatment, as well as the founder of the Peace of Mind Foundation, operating OCDchallenge.com, and now directing the McLean OCD Institute here in Houston, one of the foremost OCD specialization treatment centers in the entire world. Life is not going to be fun, easy, or fair. There are going to be days where it feels impossible, where the challenges appear insurmountable, where the going has gotten tough so many days, weeks, months, and years in a row that it feels like the only solution is to give up. You are stronger than that. A setback is a setup for a comeback, as my father, Mattress Mac, always says, and your greatest days, your biggest accomplishments, your happiest moments are yet to come. Stay strong. Keep pushing forward and continue to make Houston and the world better every day. I'm grateful for you. I love you very much. And if there's anything I can do to help, please direct message me here or text message me at 214-364-2474. Have a wonderful day and God bless.
Yeah, so the apple doesn't fall from the tree. And success leaves clues. That's my next T-shirt of the week coming. And I wanted to say this about James. James, I remember when James was just starting to get his life together and stuff like that. And he knows more Macisms than me. You know, he's able to spit. You know, I forgot about, you know, a setback is a setup for a great comeback. Also, life, you know, life doesn't promise you to be fun, easy, you know, fun or easy. He added one thing in there. I know he said fun and easy. But that's a Macism that Max always say as well. So it's just like this aura rubs off on you.
Yeah.
And it actually helps you throughout life. And that goes to my question here. What's the greatest legacy a parent or mentor can leave? Wealth, wisdom, resilience, or the example that they live every day? You know, so, and I'll answer that. So, you know, and then you could go ahead. But
yeah. I think this is a good one for you to lead with, because I want to make sure I understand where you're trying to take the conversation on this point.
Right. So I think it's the example, because a lot of people walk it or do as I say, not as I do, type of thing. But Mac embodies it, you know, and you got to really smell yourself as well. You know, a lot of things, you know, a lot of people that done things that I had to think to myself, like, damn, what if I was in the same situation, would I do the same thing? And be honest with myself, probably not. Like if I had $1 billion right now, I would be in Thailand on an island somewhere, you know, and not sitting there listening to customer quirks and
sure.
You know, like, you know, so
complaining about why you need that extra pay stub or that extra page of the bank statement or something like that, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I would still do mortgages, but he works in retail. Retail is a different animal. Retail brings a lot of craziness out of people. I have a million stories of, like, for some people, you know, Bloomingdale started this. The customer's always right. And a lot of people, Americans especially, have a lot of smug attitudes.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't say not everybody is like that, but you have enough.
Yep.
You know, where it is, you know, don't forget when I started at Gallery Furniture, I had one gray hair. One. Now, but when I left, by the time I was your age, I'm Santa Claus right now. You know, if it wasn't for the dye.
You know what's funny is in the lens of the camera here, it looks practically all black hair to me.
Right. Well, damn near, but that's not natural. You know, if I left it natural, I think I'll show you, like, once we get off. I think I'll show you what it looks like. What I
gotta get up and close and personal. Like, show me. I got like
no. I have footage like last year.
That's it. So.
Last year I didn't put any dye in it last year.
Nice.
You know, and I started dyeing it back again. I want to say at the end of this year, beginning of this year.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was gonna, because I can tell, like, right around the fringes.
Right.
Like right here. You got it, just a tiny bit there.
Right.
But,
but I'm all gray because not only working for Mac is intense, but you have the stress of the customers as well. But just to address what we're talking about in the actual question is that if he wasn't there, that's why I said earlier, if franchising it out wouldn't quite work, I think Mac is what drives Gallery Furniture. Mac is there every day. First one there. Right. Working out. He's working out with the warehouse team, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, running laps around the perimeter of the building. Showering. Then you see him, you know, there. Then hopping in 8 o'clock to open the store. You know, doing his walkthrough at 9 o'clock at night. You know, when everybody's about to leave, a lot of the week salesmen took off. We're still walking around and we're checking every piece of furniture. All right, this is kind of crooked. Put that right there.
Yeah.
You know, every night, like clockwork.
Yep.
You know, so that makes you want to work hard. Like, damn, this dude's worth $1 billion. He's up here working. Why can't I?
Yeah. You know what I find interesting about this question? You mentioned about the greatest legacy a parent can leave their child, specifically in that point. The interesting thing about that to me is when you listen to these multimillionaires, billionaires, these successful business people interviewed talk about their life experience, they almost always lead with, when I was young, my dad taught me this, or my mom taught me this, or my dad wasn't around, my mom wasn't around, and because of that taught me this. That's almost how they always lead the story, is the example they did or did not have, and that's what drove them to do the next thing. The wealth, wisdom, and resilience is a separate topic almost. The example that they were taught, good or bad, is what shaped who they are and how they framed everything. And from there, they chose to run with it or not. And I'm not going to comment on who they are, but there's 2 individuals in my life that are both mentors to me. Well, I should say, no, wrong way to phrase it. 2 people in my life that both have had the same basic life experiences for the negative. One of them is a recluse that lives shunning everybody else. Everything is, both of these are women, by the way. One is completely rejects everybody else, doesn't want anything to do with anybody, does nothing with her life, doesn't work, can't hold a job, can't get out of her comfort zone, can't visit friends, depressed all the time, on medication. Whole life is ruined because of family. Other person, another woman I know, same exact scenario. In fact, I'm going to argue worse scenario. Exactly the opposite. Surrounds herself with friends, with family, goes out of her comfort zone, tries to give back and help others, lives with purpose every day of her life, and uses that as an example and reason why she does that is, I didn't have this and I want to give this back to others and give them what I didn't have. Same circumstances, 2 completely different viewpoints. And to me, honestly, knowing these 2 individuals close to me in my life and watching them interacting with both of them, I just find it absolutely amazing that this is possible, that 2 people can have the same circumstances and go completely opposite directions. Just
Right.
sharing that. I just find it amazing. So, but wealth, wisdom, and resilience, I think resilience comes into play from time and experience. Wisdom is time and experience. Wealth is time and experience. That none of those other things happen overnight. That takes time regardless.
Yeah, I think is example from day to day is a more powerful impact because you see it. Wisdom, you could hear it. Well, you could feel it. Resilience, you could you see the clues of it, but you see the example every day. You hear about it. Yeah, I understand that you and your wife started it for $3,700 back in the day. Y'all used to drive back and forth to Dallas. I heard about it, but like for James' instance, it was before he was born.
Yeah.
But you see the clues of it, but you see him still to this day do the same thing. You see him from open to close every day.
And we didn't actually comment on the video. I just want to say, so amazing. The first video we watched there earlier where he talks about what his daughter was going through at 13 years old and how horrible this was for the family and for herself. To go from that to, as they said, graduating high school, college, PhD, now 4 happy, healthy, successful children. My goodness, talk about a win there. And Grandpa Mac has to be just so proud.
As Dad Mac at that point, that's his daughter, his grandchildren. I think that they have to be recent. I think they have to just be born because I don't think before I left Gallery, which was in 2016, she didn't have any children.
Well, 4 kids, they got to be at least 4, 3, 2, and 1, right?
They got to be like I think she had twins, so they probably yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
I think she had twins last year, so she has.
But I'm just saying, I'm thinking about how proud, Pop was, Dad, and then now he's Grandpa Mac with the kids,
right?
And just how cool that is to see. We did a good job with our kid. We were patient. We did not do what everybody said to do. We decided we're going to keep her at home. We're going to give her the help she needs. We're going to push through this together as a family. And then I'll look at how she came out the other side of this whole thing because of this.
Right. And then he said most people, I think he said that in the Busby interview, he said most people said to shovel her off to institution. People with money, most people would have did that,
and he said, no, I'm going to keep her at home. And then that's the point, is the example that he lived day by day with him and his team on the sales floor, but also at home with the family. He was there for everybody, trying to do his best. And it's a really, really nice example of something that you can imitate.
Right. Let's get to this. Let's get to the pre-question before we get to the last clip here. At what point does success stop being about what you've earned and start being about what you're willing to give back?
I'm going to say, to your point earlier, when you're, mask first for yourself, others after.
Right.
There's a balance here of, it's not saying you don't help other people, but if you truly are in a position you can't help anybody.
Right. And based on the question before, if you're not the example, if you're not the embodiment of success, how can you, just your example helps people as well.
Right. If you don't even know how to put on a mask, how are you going to help somebody else put on a mask, right?
Right. I give you an example like Kevin Samuels. That's why I kept doing the podcast and not get deterred. Before Kevin Samuels, he was 5 years before he became a multimillionaire streamer. Nobody watched him for 5 years.
Interesting.
Nobody watched him at all. Then all of a sudden he had one viral clip and he skyrocketed. His last year.
By the way, we're that one viral clip away, by the way.
Yeah, one viral clip away. So a couple of MTR as well. Mediocre tutorial. I forgot but he called himself MTR. But anyway, he's 8 years in the game. Now he's been making money for the last 3 or 4 years, but it took him 3 or 4 years to start making money. So it's just the right amount of consistency that gives you the actual powder keg. I mean, the actual, it could powder keg you to the next level.
Yeah. To be fair, what we're doing right now, what we're doing here, this doesn't directly make you and I any money.
Right.
I mean, I'm spending time, you and I are both spending time in an evening after hours, just simply trying to watch clips that we're trying to dissect and bring to the audience here. Some things you can take away, hopefully, that makes this better, that helps you in your life and business and focus, that might spark a thought or an idea that might take you to the next level too, just because you heard the right thing at the right time. And if I or Brandon, I think, honestly, ever find out that anybody watching heard something that they took away that they ran with and loved, that would make me and you, I'm going to say arguably too, very, very happy to know that that worked and helped you. Whether we ever do any business directly together is irrelevant.
Well, a couple of things, Anthony. I get all the time emails and text messages of people that know me personally, or DMs of people that either read my books, seen a vlog, seen the podcast. So this is what I do this for. I figured out a long time ago, not a long time ago, I would say a while back, that the more you put out as far as positivity, the more you're going to get back. You have to give in order to receive. So if you approach the world with negativity, like you said, with the person that's has influence in your life, negativity begets more negativity. So you have no choice but to be a cycle of your own energy. I put positive energy out into the world, and in turn, I get positive energy back. If I could help somebody with, my knowledge or a nuance about business that I've experienced and people are actually listening, that's what I do the podcast for. It's not just about monetary gain, but in turn, you do have people that see it and then they want to do business because they like your personality. So it's a win-win. And we only spend like 2 hours a week doing it. You're going to have conversation amongst friends anyway. So why not record it and make content out of it? So it's a smart way to spend your time and to actually make something that virtually costs us, it costs us money. What is $500 a year? Was like $50 a month, so would you put that on a cheeseburger or something?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's some funds that go into making this thing work, and obviously the time commitment, but still, I mean, it's a way to give back. I do it because I'm hopeful of the hundreds, thousands of people that end up watching these videos and the clips and everything afterwards. It'll actually help somebody. They'll pull something away from this that will spark something that's like, I need to make this decision. I need to do something different. I need to reach out to Brandon or David and learn more about this. And then it triggers something that then sets you on that journey or path to do something like this guy, Mac, of that's a good idea. Let's try that thing. And then all of a sudden, this 2-3 store furniture guy is making hundreds of millions of dollars a year just because he had some good ideas.
Right. Actually, we would do on Saturday, our typical Saturday, we would do $1 million in one Saturday. So yeah. Yeah. So like it was crazy. Don't forget, but he's not low end. He's skewed. He wanted to be Nordstrom, not Walmart. So, this couch that's in my office here, this Flex Steel couch is like $7,000 retail. I didn't pay that, of course.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah, but I'll show you. Actually, maybe I can show it to you.
Yeah. Can we see it?
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see that couch right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a $7,000 couch.
That's a $7,000. It's a Flex Steel couch. You can Google it.
Oh my goodness. I have a presidential desk that's $4,000.
Right.
And your couch is almost double.
Right. It's $7,000 Flex Steel couch. But this is my favorite couch in the world. This is probably the most comfortable couch I've ever.
It better be.
Right. Well, there's way more expensive couches than this. This is by far not the most expensive couch that Gallery Furniture sells.
Wow.
No,
why is it that much though? Is it made of Wagyu beef or?
No, it's it's a lifetime warranty on the frame. The frame is made out of blue steel. Hence the name Flex Steel. So that if you turn it over, there's these I want to say 3 to 4 inch thick blue steel bands that's going across it.
So which I'm assuming helps with the support, but also the flexibility simultaneously.
Right. You're not going to break this frame. I could stand in this couch right now. And
what's funny about that? Just to this point, we bought a really nice. Finally, like when I was finally doing well. This was many years ago. Mm-hmm. We bought a really nice leather furniture set from was it Slumberland? I think Slumberland Furniture. But the highest end thing you can get, like real leather, everything great. I literally sat down on the couch, didn't jump on it, sat on it. And the whole thing internally went crack.
Right.
So we got this dip in this leather couch. But what are you going to do at this point?
Just take it back.
Well, you could, but you know how hard it was to get the stupid thing in the house in the first place?
Right. And that's what
as a consumer, I'm like, you know what? Forget it. We'll just kind of lean like this as we sit on the couch and prop pillows up, right? Like it is what it is. Yeah. But that was a $3,000 couch, I want to say.
Right.
So
leather?
Yeah, full leather, real leather.
I don't know. That $3,000?
At least it was.
How long ago did you get it?
It was probably 10 years ago.
I'll tell you what. This is how you could tell. Don't forget I'm a furniture expert.
Now you got me questioning. Now I got to go look at my couch.
When you look on the back, is it small strips or is it all one big strip in the back? It's
parceled strips. It's not small strips. It's wider strips. But it also had the little leather tag on the back that hangs off, kind of a thing.
But my question is the back all like? Is it one piece that's all the way all the way going from the top to the bottom?
I don't think so. I think it's sewn across the middle a couple
of times. Stitching, because don't forget how big is a cow. So real leather is going to have a strip.
Couch is big.
Yeah, it's going to at the back. You see a strip. You see a strip.
Well, so now you got me questioning this. Now I got to go research this. So anybody here watching, by the way, if you have a couch that says it's leather, this is how you know if it's leather or not, which is
right. You're going to see a seam. You're going to see a seam. You're going to see a seam because that's each individual piece of leather.
Right. Which makes sense.
Got one big piece.
You can't take one cow and wrap the cow around the couch.
Correct. Well, not only that, but the back itself, especially sometimes there was called leather touch. Leather touch is leather that everywhere that you touch where you're sitting down, the rest is vinyl.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So that's a possibility that the faces are leather and the back is not. But 100% leather couch for $3,000 is kind of, I don't know.
We got it on like a Black Friday special. I think the retail was $5 or $6.
Okay, that makes more sense.
You never know.
Yeah.
But
still, if you got it at half off, that makes more sense.
If I had known a flex steel thing existed that it would never break, and I wouldn't be dealing with this to this day and irritated every time I sit down on my couch in my own living room for 10 years.
Right.
I would have just gotten the saved a little bit of time and money and gotten the flex steel couch, right?
Flex steel is where to go. I got other stuff as well. I got Mayo and I got Jonathan Lewis, but by far that flex steel is the most comfortable thing that's ever.
That's cool.
That's my favorite couch.
Next time, by the way, anybody wants to buy a couch, call Brandon. He can hook you up. He knows who to get you to.
Yeah, I get you over to John over at Gallery Furniture. Let's roll this last clip and let's get out of here. We at the 2-hour mark right now.
Don't forget, are we playing just asking, are we going to play the clip on the BDM or what are we doing at this
point? Yeah, let's play the BDM last after we wrap up.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's do that and then let's go ahead and run this last clip.
Decided to have a place where they could power their device. Monday through Thursday, we had 15,000 people in here, about 3,500 people eating every day. And we did that because it's the right thing to do. Then Centerpoint's thinking, we don't want to spend the money. We want to make a lot of bottom line so our execs can get paid. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Centerpoint. All of us, we don't summer in Aspen, we summer in Houston. These are my people coming in here crying because they're hot and they're miserable and they're dying. These are the people that hospitals sent out here that needed a heart rate charger for their hearts, otherwise they were going to die. These are real people, mothers coming in here breastfeeding their children because it's so stifling hot at home. And the executives at Center Pointless don't get that. Put the people before the profit. And I want to thank these three men up here and countless first responders, men and women all over our city and county, and all the hardworking people who've worked 20 hours a day to help people out during this horrible hurricane. And Center Pointless, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Not the line workers. The line workers are the greatest people on earth. They're working 16 to 18 hours a day in this sweltering heat. But the CenterPoint executives up there cutting costs so their end of the year bonus is bigger. Shame on you. Life is not about money. Life's about making people's lives better. You need to get on the ground in Houston and do your job. 10 years ago, when we had hurricane response out here, people would come in here. They had no thought of charging their cell phone. Now they can't live without their cell phone. They want to talk and see if their loved ones are okay. They want to figure out how to get geographic directions across Houston. So let's put people before profit, Center Pointless. I don't care about how much money I make. My daddy and my mother taught me how much a difference you're going to make, boy. And that's why we're all here.
I love his passion.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I guess when you get to that point, yes, you could be, passionate about that. I definitely hear you. I definitely understand selling what nobility. I definitely understand where he's at as far as building the community. Again, the name of my company is the Home Ownership Community. So I definitely understand the community. I definitely understand everything he's saying. I disagree about the money aspect. I do think money is still important. However, it's not about how much money you make. It is about how much impact you're going to create. But you need that in order to make the impact. You do need to make money. Because think about it, all leaders, all kings have been rich. It just they have wealth, they have gold, they have the
It kind of goes hand in glove. There is
right.
King equals wealth.
Right. Heads of states, religious people, religious leaders all had money.
And that definitely shouldn't be that way, by the way. But
right,
yes.
but but it has. It's not about. A lot of times we live idealistic, and I get it, how it should be and how it is. I think there's a dualism. It's lofty to think about how it should be, but how are you going to change from how it is already to how it should be? If you don't have any power, if you don't have any motion, how could you make it to how it should be? So, can I gotta sit there and complain about it? That's not going to do anything. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. But when you have enough power, you have enough money, you have enough people that has a community, then you could make things the how it should be, like Mac is doing. When people helping young, now you could do that. You can afford to do that, but I can't do that if my lights are about to get cut off.
Yeah,
I don't know where my next meal is coming from.
Now I want to argue also too, though, that some people. And I'm not saying all, but I've seen this happen with individuals that I've known over the years in the business community, where they use that as an excuse. So I need to build. Well, if I build wealth, then I can give more. So I have to go out and sacrifice everything and not take care of my family and not live by example and I got to go do that. Because the more I sacrifice and I put this first in my life, the more I'm going to be able to eventually give back. And it's like, I get where you're trying to come from, but there's a balancing act here that I feel like we have to still maintain. If you want to be successful, there's a little bit of, out of balance at some times. We've talked about this in previous shows of, you have to be out of balance in some categories sometimes. But if you're like, screw everybody, I'm going to go off and just do my own thing, and you're not going to serve anybody except yourself for who knows how long until that happens, in hopes one day, I'm going to give back and help people. That's a different mentality than somebody that's trying to give back today and is working towards their goal and trying to really be a little out of balance to pursue the goal to give back, right?
Well, self-servant kings get beheaded, right? You have to have the kingdom. You have to have something to be over. So these great leaders build wealth for themselves or create value that outlives them in communities, in the communities that they serve. So I think Mac created value. I think there's a way to do both, and Mac's a great example, and that's why I want to do this show. That's why he's such a great mentor. Is he did both. He uses the communal aspect to gain more wealth because he understands the first thing. That's the first chapter in my book is reciprocity. Mm-hmm. When people that I've had before, people that when they, single women. Hey, when I was, going through a divorce, I was starving and I came over here, ate, and I survived. And now, now that I'm on my feet, I got to do business with you. People like, Roger, that's not, I think, no, Pac-Man's a successful business owner. He gave him his first job.
Pac-Man?
He's from Pakistan, so.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
his real name is.
I was like, who are you talking about here?
His real name is like Irion, or something to that.
Okay.
Yeah, but we call him Pac-Man.
Gotcha. I like it. I mean, that's a cool nickname, though. I mean, Pac-Man. Yeah. Who doesn't love Pac-Man?
Right. So, but he's like a successful business owner right now. I could name like 3 or 4 different people. The guy Sean was one of my mentees at Gary Furniture. He owns a stretch lab. I have a couple guys that own roofing companies. I have a couple guys that master electricians and owns electric companies. Electrician companies, HVAC and stuff like that.
Right.
All so they have values and they have these skills that translated and help them, the community, by duplicating yourself.
Right.
And I ran a successful mortgage company, as far as being a broker, as far as being an advisor, so me coming from that, but I've owned businesses before, but Mac took me to the next level as far as what I need to do. And I hit the ground running, again, 6 figures every year and for 10 years straight, so I wouldn't have been able to do that without learning these principles from what I got from Gallery Furniture by being under Mattress Mac, learning how to scale businesses, knowing how to market, so on and so forth. I want to say he's probably one of the best marketers that you ever see, and that's one of the things he always say when you catch him in his ego, like, yeah, I want to go down as the greatest marketer ever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, so it's a way to fuel both.
Yeah.
He serves the community and he builds wealth for himself as well.
Right. I mean, even in our businesses, though, I mean, like for anybody watching, again, we're in mortgage lending, and Brandon actually is a licensed real estate agent as well. So, put these together. One of the things that I've found personally, like the best agents, the best realtors, the best mortgage advisors that I've ever met are the ones that are willing to give back to their clients and give their time, energy, and focus to help them grow and find that path forward to get them into home ownership as fast as possible. If they have struggled with something and they need to refinance or sell and buy another one, or they want that second home or investment property, whatever it is, solution oriented. We're trying to find those solutions for people. That's not something every mortgage lender does. In fact, arguably most do not. They're focused on, here's the link, here's the application, go apply. Somebody, maybe me or somebody else, will look at this thing and pull the credit and say, yes, no, good, denied, approved, great, there you go. And they walk away from it and hand it off to somebody else or deny the loan. There's no thought process here of, well, hey, it's not going to work right now, but, John, we want to help you get into this scenario as fast as possible. Let's give you the path forward and show you exactly what to do. I want you to do this, open a new credit card, close a card, pay this off, save this much, move money here, but don't do it here. Apply this way when we go forward next time. I don't want you to put this person on the loan. I just want this person on the loan. Make sure that you have this thing for your income structured this way. We want to get you to a financial advisor to talk through your financial strategy, get you to a tax advisor to build the strategy with your finances that way. There's a whole world of things we can do to really empower somebody that can change lives. And I think I talked about this on a previous show. There was one family I did this with where we literally had this conversation. And after 10 years, not only did this person get the help, but the entire family ended up working with me. And I've probably made well over $100,000 in commissions from one family just because I helped one guy put the path forward in place that nobody else was willing to take the time to do, which took over 2-3 years to do. But because I put in the time, we got that done, and it paid itself forward. And then now in turn, I can give that back to others and help more people. So I want to just stress that strongly. The value to this point, this question here, rounding back to this, it's not about the wealth. It's about creating the value and serving other people in the community. If you do that with whatever business you have, whatever model you have, whatever vision you have, you'll be able to make this thing work well for you if you put in the work ethic, surround yourself with the right people, have the right vision, are coachable and listen to other people's ideas. Like we talked about, like Brandon, like you shared that with Mac of like, hey, why don't we try this? Other salesperson, why don't we try this? And take these ideas and try to run with them and figure out how this thing works. Put it all together, go, grow, right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, like I said, that's one of his greatest strengths. Like I said, is most of these corporations look through a peephole instead of looking through binoculars or looking through a pane glass window, and they have a very narrow vision. And when you do that, you miss a lot. You don't see a lot. That's one thing about Mac. He didn't. Right. He would give people a chance, and then now if you can't tell.
I like the pane glass window analogy over the binoculars, because binoculars are super focused.
Right.
Pane glass window is like step
right.
back.
Right, you can step back. So I thought about it afterward.
Yeah.
But don't forget, this isn't scripted. So
exactly. We're on the fly. I like that analogy though. That's a good example.
Right. So, but he would look at it in a certain way that he wouldn't miss anything. And then don't forget, he'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And which most people weren't. Most people are trying to find. I forgot what it's called. Just like the guy with the red and the brown. Like for me, and it's basically a fancy word for prejudice. You're looking for. I present something that you had in your head, so you're looking for these things that's not really there.
You're hyper focused on one thing.
You're hyper focused on one thing, so you're looking for something to disqualify me. And we used to talk about this at Gallery Furniture all the time. Is that when you're looking to disqualify the customer, you miss out on most of your sales. You got to look at things to qualify. You got to qualify them.
Right.
When you're trying to disqualify, I don't like the way his eyes twitch. That means something.
Yeah.
You can look for anything in anybody to disqualify them, but you miss out. And that goes to Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people.
Yep.
If you're looking for that perfect person, you're not going to find a perfect person. What are the good things about this person?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you got to do. Let's talk about the BDM, and then I want to get the final word of the day. So I'll let you go ahead. You want to?
Just real quick with the BDM. Did we change the video yet, or are we using the old?
No, we're using the same video. We're going to add to the videos coming soon. We're going to have not only the BDM, probably going to have after every 2 clips or after every clip have a video. We have BDM, we're gonna have recruiting, we're gonna have next to reverse, and we're gonna have Creator Connect or something to that effect.
So for anybody watching that is thinking about adding power of ownership to your life, of adding a revenue stream outside of what you're doing now, and you do not have to be tied to real estate or mortgages, we have created a program, one program of the many Brandon just mentioned here, that there's video content. We're going to try to work on getting this out there. And I love that you're working on this, Brandon, behind the scenes to create these videos. But we're going to play a video here that just kind of explains briefly how the Business Development Manager program works here at Nexa Lending. After the video, I'll just share a brief couple of comments of what this means, what the takeaways are, and what to do next. So let's fire off the video, and then I'll share that at the end.
If you're a realtor and you're not getting paid for the mortgage conversations you're already having, we need to talk. You're speaking to buyers, sellers, past clients, your sphere every single day. And every time financing comes up, you're creating opportunity, but you're earning zero from it. At Nexa Lending, we've built a compliant business development manager program that lets you get paid for the business you generate without becoming a loan officer. No licensing, no quoting rates, no collecting docs. You simply connect people. We handle the mortgage. You get paid as a W-2 business development employee. Refinances, your CRM, your Sphere, other agents you introduce. You're already creating the business, now you monetize it. If you're serious about adding a real additional income stream this year, click the link, message me directly, and let's get you activated in under 10 minutes.
Awesome. So with this video, obviously, as you can tell, it's focused primarily on real estate agents because the honest truth is everybody out there buys a home starting off typically with a real estate agent. So therefore, they're the first ones usually at bat in the conversation. So if you are a real estate agent and you're working with mortgage lenders, but you'd like to actually make a legal commission on being able to help these families with our marketing, talk to us. We want to talk with you about how you can tie into this with the BDM program. This is not exclusive to realtors, though. If you're a contractor, an insurance agent, a tax advisor, a financial advisor, any other person, in fact, the most profitable person I believe still at this company with the BDM program is an unlicensed social media influencer, has nothing to do with real estate. If this is you and you want to learn more about how to do this, scan the QR code at the top right. This will get you on my calendar to schedule a call one-to-one with me. And then whether that makes more sense to talk with me further, Brandon, or somebody else, we'll make sure that we get the information to you, help you understand what the next steps are. But it is literally something you can do in as literally as short of a time as one business day. We can have you onboarded, ready to go, and being able to make legal commissions on the marketing efforts you're making to support us. And by the way, this is extremely compliant. We have run this through hundreds of thousands of dollars of attorney fees to ensure that this is legal and compliant across the country. We have a very specific way that we have to run this thing. So you have to follow that process flow to make it work. But if you have interest in learning more, please let us know. And I want to add to it for this show, if you know a friend in the space that you think might be a good fit, please invite them to also scan the QR code and reach out to us as well. We'd love to talk with that person as well.
Gotcha. All right, so we're going to wrap this show up with the final thoughts. Again, after watching all of the clips, what's the one thing that you're taking away from this episode? For me, like I said, we're working with Mac for almost 6 years. It's back to the fundamentals, is that, you're actually, it's greater than yourself, but at the same time, you serve the community by becoming great at what you do, becoming the GOAT in every aspect, and not being scared to take chances, be the leader of the pack. Don't forget the pioneers have all the arrows in their back, right? So it just is what it is.
Yeah. My takeaway is Mac taught you well.
Right.
Or you taught him well, however you want to look at it.
Well,
one of you taught each other well.
No, you did most of the teaching. Like I said, I would throw nuggets here and there. Again, I would remain quiet. But again, a lot of the lessons didn't sink in till later in life. While you're doing it, like, goddamn, this guy here is a nut. So you're thinking that during the time, but all this makes sense later on once you take it away. But
I do think it's cool that you were trained by him, taught by him, sort of, but also helped him as well. You had a really close-knit group of people. Some of those people are still there today. Right. And he had such a successful career from so few of stores in Texas that he was able to grow and expand this empire of a well-known brand that was a nationwide sensation that people knew about just because of his marketing strategies, the ownership he took, and the attention to detail, the accountability, the leading by example, holding everybody's feet to the fire on this thing of this is what I expect from you. He led by example. Right. And that's my biggest takeaway is leading by example. Whatever I'm doing, whatever I want other people to do. If I want attention to detail on my mortgage loans, I better have that too. If I want clients to get approved, well, then I better be looking for ways to help them get approved in any way possible and having that mindset. If I want to grow my personal wealth, my business, I have to have the right vision, the right mindset, the right strategy to be able to do this. This isn't something that I just hope is going to work.
Right. Or just do as I say, not as I do type thing. And they used to say that all the time.
Right.
You know, most people, most CEOs, you rarely see them. And if you do, you know nothing about them. They come do a canned speech and then they go on and hop in their Maserati and then pull off, right?
Yep.
You know, you don't see anything. Mac drives this old, well, at one time, this old beat up Yukon. Well, he had, you know, he used to drive this Ferrari around the town just for marketing purposes and with a mattress strapped on the top. But
wow, nice.
You know, yeah, so but day to day he would drive this old Yukon. You know, he believed in Made in America, so he drive this old Yukon with gallery that's wrapped in gallery furniture. You know, until somebody tried to kill him, then he started doing the gallery furniture stuff. You know, he always wore the gallery furniture uniform, but he wouldn't do the wrap truck no more.
Interesting.
You know, so but ownership is taking responsibility beyond yourself. That's another layer. Mm-hmm. You know, not just taking ownership of what you do, but it's beyond yourself, taking ownership of community, taking ownership of the greater good, you know. And then I had 3 for this one. Success begins with building yourself. Legacy begins with building others. You know, that James, like I said, James is came a long way. Just when I first started to Waves at Night, he's came a long way, you know. And then the last one is anyone can build a business. Few people can build legacy. Legacy begins the moment your success stops being just about you.
Yeah. I like that one the best, I think.
Right.
Because honestly, that's one of the things is no matter how good you are, if you don't have somebody that's going to take over this business for you or that you can delegate to help you run it, if you pass away, get hit by a car tomorrow, what'll happen?
Well, not only that, Mac has several people. You know, you got Brandon B. Dixon is you see an offspring of Mac. You see James McInville is an offspring of Mac. You see Sean is an offspring of Mac. All of these people that successful people in the community and actual upstanding citizen, this all comes from you doing your job. You do it, living in your purpose. You leading by example.
That's a good point.
Success leaves clues. So when you die, who's gonna be at your funeral? Who's gonna what residue have you left behind? If everybody around you are rotten individuals, and when you die, if nobody comes to your funeral, 15 minutes later, they forgot you ever existed.
Yep. To that point, and for anybody watching, if you know who my dad was,
Sure.
You either love him or hate him. It's one of the two.
Right.
He was a very interesting person.
Right.
But one thing I took away was when he died of cancer in 2013 at 53 years old, I remember when he died at the funeral, we had to turn people away because we were at building occupancy limits, including his own surgeon who came to the funeral because he cared that much, which is really impressive. I want that. I want that too. That's a memory, a success legacy that I thought, you know what, even in death, he provided that legacy of people had to be turned away to get into the doors to get to his funeral. I want that.
Right.
That was cool.
That's what everybody was. They want your debt quiet, but your funeral loud, right?
Yes. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, Dad, shut up. No one wants to hear from you. But apparently everybody loved you so much.
Right.
They're going to come for
but
that.
That's the thing that, the people that you think that, think about it, the people that tread lightly, you're not making any waves in the pool.
Yeah.
You don't even know you're in the pool. The people that make the loudest noise, the stompers, that's to make the most
and that's
waves.
exactly what it was. He was if you did not know him, he was a stomper.
Right. So, and Mac was a stomper. Mac is stone bone crazy. I'll tell you some of these stories off air, but Mac was like, man, this guy is unbelievable. You know, he would threaten to fire you after you make a $10,000 sale. I almost got fired a couple of times.
I can't imagine him seeing the video. I can't imagine him trying to fight you, Brandon.
Oh yeah, we were nose to nose a couple of times. Mac's not scared of anything. I'll give you this story while we're on the air. This is a funny story. Everybody laughs.
Everybody wants to hear this story, by the way.
Right. A couple of times. Well, I think Mac got scared one time. Because that's two separate stories.
Because he pushed you just far enough.
Yeah, I got real. And I don't get mad. I'm real zen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I practice on. Because I in my youth I used to be real hot headed, and I worked on that. But something I was on the phone. We used to have these phones like. You pick up and it was attached to a wire back in the day. I don't know you remember these.
That's how I started my career, is plugging the phone in the wall with the cardboard table.
Right, it was the phone in the wall and stuff like that. So the phone will ring, and sometimes there'll be sales on there. So we'll answer the phone to salespeople if there's no customers. So I answer the phone all the time. And Mac's steadily talking. God damn, I can't hear, Mac. You're talking to me, and I'm trying to talk to the customer. You're yelling over me and stuff like that, and telling me about something like that, so and I couldn't, he's talking over me while I'm trying to talk. I'm like, I'm on the goddamn phone, so I get
making this out for you, Mac.
Right. So I hung up the phone. Bing! I hung it up so loud. It cried, I was pissed off. So he came from behind the desk. Don't slam my goddamn phone. You want to take it out on me? Take it out on me. Don't take it out on my phone. So we're nose to nose.
Yikes.
So I'm like, all right, Mac, whatever. But
and I'm assuming it did not turn further from that.
No, he did, so that even this show. But Mac is about my height. Mac used to play linebacker for University of Texas, so he's about 6'1". We're about the same height.
All right.
I'm probably a little bit taller.
What's cool is when you are friends with, when you respect somebody, though,
mm-hmm.
you can. I like to think you and I have the same mentality. When we respect one another and you have that same kind of friendship of we have the same vision, the same focus, and we're driven, and that you have that respect, you can have that back to back and still be chill an hour later and totally cool and be like, I love you, buddy. And you're back at it. And to this day, how many years later that you left that company, you're still talking about Mac as, I love this guy. He taught so many good things. He has a good vision. We're building a whole show here around this guy because you respect him, right?
Yeah, respect. Well, looking back, man, like I said, nobody after owning my business, and I went, this is the problem. I think I was telling somebody this the other day. I made $1 million in my 20s. When I was 27 years old, I made my first $1 million, right? So I'm spending, me coming from a family that never had money. I didn't know how to A, act with money, and B, how to multiply my money. So I'm thinking this is going to last forever. So after I sold the businesses, I'm still spending as if I'm making $30,000, $40,000 a month.
Oh,
After I sold, so I'm going on trips. I have 200 pair of shoes. I love shoes so much. I got a custom painting here in my office about the, in turn now I've kicked that habit. I used to have
I go to an Italian job where he's got his room for his shoes.
Right. I used to and then think about it, I spent hundreds of the cheapest pair of shoes I had at one point was $300. I had shoes that cost $2,000 and $3,000 and stuff like that. So
I have a pair of Garnets.
I don't know what Garnets are.
Kevin Garnett, Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Like that's my I still have them. They're like brand new. I've never worn them because I don't play basketball.
Right.
But I bought them because I wanted to play basketball, so they're still sitting in my closet here. Like that's my most expensive shoes, I think, right there.
Right. Now these were Gators. I had like Gators and Ostrich. There's a company called Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix and Maury. They were popular back in the days, you know.
Nice.
So these were like I'm not a sneaker guy. These were kind of sneakers, but they were dressy.
Well,
You
dude,
know?
one of these days I got to see your shoes. Like, hold them up to
Well,
the camera.
I gave them.
Do it.
I think I got 1 or 2 pair left. I think I got some video, but I gave those things away to charity. I want to say 3 years ago, 3 years ago.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
so,
Cool.
yeah, but I have a few pair of shoes, but not, all of those are workout shoes now. I wear $60 Amazon shoes now. I don't care anymore. That was when. But my point is the diatribe that I was making is that I was spending like I was still making that type of money, and after I sold the store, traveling and stuff like that. So before I knew it, I spent a whole bunch of money, and I wasn't broke, but I was damn near getting there in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so I started looking for, me being an entrepreneur. I hadn't worked out. I've only worked like 3 jobs in my life. I only clocked in and clocked out like 3 times in my life. My first job at Aaron's, at Gallery Furniture, and I worked at a bank for a little while when I first got my license, just to learn loans. So worked at Bank of America. I mean, not Bank of America, Bank of England. Excuse me.
Okay.
So worked there for a little while, but I think this is a Kick on Kick. I forgot we started on Kick as well. I started a Kick page. So this is Rose.
A Kickstarter?
Nah, Kick is a streaming page.
Oh, gotcha.
So Rosie Finn one says, "Hey man, what's going on, dude? I appreciate you. You're the first to comment on my Kick page. I just started it like yesterday, so I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate a follow as well.
I'm just guessing, right? Rosie's probably a girl.
Maybe.
Rosie, girl or guy, we appreciate
We
you
appreciate
plugging into the show.
Hey, I definitely appreciate a follow, if you will. We're new to Kick. I definitely appreciate if you come on. He or she says thank you.
Oh, thank you. If you're still on, yes.
Yeah, I'm a girl.
I'm right.
You're right. I appreciate Rosie.
Rosie, come on, man. Rosie.
Rosie, isn't Rosie Greer a football player?
I mean, like maybe a last name, but
right. Rosie Greer is a famous football player.
I'll be honest. Go sports team. I know nothing about sports and could care less. That's why I'm like, I got Garnett's, and I'm hoping that means something to somebody. But
I had to think about it for a while. But yeah, man. Just get back to the story. Like, he was the first, and I applied at probably 100 places when I decided, all right, I'm gonna get a job, right? And overqualified, ran $1 million business, went from my first job at college, being a manager at Aaron's Rents. I don't know if you've heard of that. Then I became.
I don't think I have. No, what was that job?
Aaron, I was the general manager at Aaron's Rents, and I worked my way up to regional manager.
Yeah,
you ever heard of Aaron's Rents?
What is that job? What's the company?
Aaron's Rents. You ever heard of Aaron's Rents?
No.
They're famous. They're a Fortune 500 company.
Aaron's Rents.
Aaron's
How
Rents.
have I never heard of this?
Yeah, Aaron's is probably the biggest rental furniture place.
They
Rose
do not.
F1 says you guys can call me Rose as well. All right, Rose.
All right, good, cool.
Yeah, the stream's been great. We're brand new to Kick. I appreciate if you could share the actual live with your followers. I definitely appreciate that. And we're new to Kick, but we've been on YouTube and Twitch for a while, so I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, for what it's worth, by the way, for anybody watching, I'm grateful so much to Brandon for adding me as a co-host almost not quite a year ago to this podcast. However,
6 months, right?
Yeah, it's been about 9 months or something like that, 7 months either way. But either way, you've been running this thing for almost 9 years on your own before me. So kudos to you for doing this. I just feel honored to be a part of it and just allowing me to be of assistance and helping. Again, I've got a lot of experience, a different background, a lot of things I can bring to the table, but Brandon is the guy that really gets all the kudos for this thing. So
right. I definitely appreciate it. Do you stream daily? I don't stream daily. We stream every Monday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time.
yes,
But we will replay during the week different streams. So be on the lookout for different streams that we replay. But we stream live right now. We're live here every Monday. But we do.
And two other points with this, by the way. Periodically, we will do one-to-one separate interviews, myself and Brandon both, as well during the week. So we will have one-to-one interviews with top professionals in their space or category, where we're bringing them in and just asking them questions to really break down very specific topics in their space. And with the new Creator Connect program that we're building, which if you are a mortgage advisor or you are trying to get into this space, I'm telling you, if you are not part of the Creator Connect program here at Nexa Lending, largest brokerage in the history of the country behind us here that's running this thing. Brandon, by the way, is one of our coaches with this whole program because he knows what's up when it comes to streaming. If you want to get in on this thing on the ground floor, we have coaching, training, software, everything to help you go build this whole platform on a daily basis so you can go live on TikTok, Instagram, etc., and be able to build this thing out. So we're excited to hopefully have that happen.
Rose said, by the way, where are you from? Rose, I'm a Houston mortgage broker, and David is a Minnesota.
Twin Cities, Minnesota.
Yeah, Twin Cities advisor. But you caught us at the end. We're about to hop off, so catch us next week, and then catch us periodically. And then if you follow me, I definitely will follow you back on Kick. I definitely appreciate it. We're gonna see you next week. Peace.
Good deal. Good show, man.
Take ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Take ownership of your mistakes. Take ownership of your shortfalls. Take ownership of your problems. And then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved. And when a team takes ownership of its problems, the problems get solved. And that is true on the battlefield, it is true in business, and it is true in life.